Welcome, Internet, to the Play Some Video Games podcast. It's your boy back from vacation, DatNinjaDev, and I'm joined, as always, by my main man, Donnie, Eat the Hype Reese, and Delvin, Florida Man Cox. But we are also joined by Ryan Turford of Carpool Gaming. Thank you for joining us. How are you doing this evening?
Well, thank you so much for having me, you guys. I'm very excited to, talk some games with y'all. I'm probably the only person here who hasn't played Call to the Lamb yet, but I'm here for y'all to sell me on it. It's all good.
I ain't play that.
Yeah,
well, there you go. I don't feel as alone now.
That. That's a Donnie special if I ever seen one. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So let's just jump right into it. Ryan, as usual, you're our guest, so you can go first and tell us a little bit about your week and what you've been playing.
So, my week's been, an okay week. I mean, looking outside, the weather is, nice and calm and cool. And, it's been a nice day here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada today. Sorry, my shtick is, being the weatherman on the moose. Whenever someone asks me how I've been doing, I don't usually talk about my feelings, but instead talk about the weather to divert people from, talking about feelings. But otherwise, I've been playing some games this week, getting ready because next week's a big week for game releases for me in particular. A lot of stuff that I'm pretty excited about is coming next week, like Saints Row or Soul Hackers 2.
Nope.
So there's a lot of stuff I'm really excited for next week. So I'm not playing anything major right now, but I have been, obsessed for the last month with The Sims 4. Because I can't stop playing it. But then I've also been playing the Deofold Chronicle, but I know it's an RPG. I won't, talk any more about it other than the fact that I've been playing it. And then I also played another little game called Mario Kart 8 with some friends this week. We were playing the Drew tracks. Nice. It was a ton of fun. Donnie was hanging out with us, and
still haven't played any of them.
Yeah, I mean they're okay. I don't know if they're amazing, but it's just fun, breaking out Mario Kart.
I was so excited when it was announced. It seemed like such a great deal. I signed up for NSO. I was like, oh, we're gonna get so many tracks. It'd be great. I think I played one track, and then that's all it took for me to realize, like, oh, it is still just more Mario Kart 8, the same game I've been playing for a decade. And I was like, yeah, I need something else. I don't know. I lost all enthusiasm. I don't even think I finished the race. I did like 2 laps and just turned it back off.
That's why, I haven't really played against any of the computer stuff. I tried doing a cup, and I'm just I was also like you. I just wasn't into it. But yeah, when you're at a party with 8 to 10 people, it just becomes more fun. Because of that, because it is more about the party atmosphere and less about Mario Kart at that point. But you're right. It definitely it is. Even though I was also really excited when they first announced the new tracks. Seeing them in action, especially with most of them coming from tour. Those tracks just aren't really anything exciting to me personally as someone who likes Mario Kart. But I love, the inclusion of some Super Nintendo tracks, because I do really, have fond nostalgia for the Super Nintendo version of Mario Kart that I know is kind of a mixed opinion for people. But I'm like you, Donnie, because I also had, Mario Kart 8 on the Wii U and played it to death there.
Yeah.
And played it, a lot when the Switch came out. So I'm kind of Mario Kart 8'd out at this point, and it's only really fun to jump in with friends, I think, at this point. But nonetheless, I had to highlight it here because it was still pretty fun playing it. The multiple times.
I enjoyed hanging out with you guys. I wasn't playing, but I enjoyed just hanging out while you guys played.
For sure. That's kind of been my week. Also, beyond games, I also have to mention this because Donnie's here, and I know Donnie will appreciate this. I got these Child's Play 4Ks from Screen Factory today, and
solid.
I'm very excited to rewatch these again. So
very nice. Yeah, I as with all things Chucky, when those were announced, I had 50 notifications, and I did not buy them. And I was like, guys, I cannot keep buying the same movie. I own 4 copies of each Chucky movie. It's just too much. It's too many, So
you got to draw the line somewhere.
I might get them just for the cases, cheap, but I wasn't gonna pre-order.
Yeah,
I'm kind of the same way. There are those Halloween collector's editions that I kind of want just for the cases, but I wasn't going to buy them at $30 each. It's I already have the Halloween collection. I don't need it again.
Well, one of the nice things is, living in Canada, believe it or not, this doesn't happen very often, but
much more
Amazon. Well, there's that, but Amazon actually marked them down below, like well below the Scream Factory price in
That's
Canadian dollars. So,
That's
like
legit.
these Child's Play ones, I paid less than $30 for each of them, and I haven't
That's still
bought. Well,
yeah,
versus buying them from Scream Factory where they're like
I own
$40.
2 Child's Play collector editions,
Right?
like the entire collections. I own the old one from like 2008, and then the new one that just came out that has all the Netflix movies included as well.
Right.
So yeah, I couldn't do that again.
I haven't. Whereas I haven't bought these since DVD. So like, I
nice.
As soon as they announce 4Ks, I'm like, yes, I'm.
Yeah, you'll enjoy.
Also, I'm that guy that has all the Halloween ones on my shelf, and I'm very excited to get my Halloween 4K of Halloween Resurrection later this year, Donnie. So
Nice.
I can see
I guess
Kung Fu Busta Rhymes.
Resurrection.
Yeah.
I have the Halloween Blu-ray Michael Myers collection or whatever that still fetches a pretty penny. I even thought about selling it to just buy the cases because I like the 4K cases. The cases look really nice.
Yeah,
it's got a nice shelf presence. But yeah, did you watch the Chucky the TV show?
No, I haven't watched it yet. There's not really an easy way in Canada to watch it, unfortunately.
Oh, really? It's like everywhere here in America. Obviously, it's on USA and Sci-Fi, but it's also on like Peacock, and it was like on Tubi, and it was everywhere. And you could just watch it on the website. Like every episode is just on the website.
The best part is I tried all that, Donnie, and it's all region locked because we don't have Peacock here in Canada. We have Tubi, but it's different because it's Canadian.
Much more
Tubi
peasants
instead. And likewise, we don't have USA
Wow.
Network or Sci-Fi in Canada. So
sounds like you need a VPN.
Sounds like I do need a VPN. Probably from some other ad from some other YouTube video.
If you plug in PSVG in your code now.
Wait, I tried to. I was hoping one of y'all would interrupt me, so you've been like, and PSVG is sponsored by NordVPN.
Yeah. Also,
We are
region locked,
sponsored by no one.
Much more VPN.
Much more. I mean, that way, if y'all used a VPN, you could watch more music, you guys.
Ooh, that's where we draw the line.
Yeah.
Not happening.
How about now?
That's too much.
Although actually, they're not called Much More Music now. They're just called Much
Music.
More. No, just much more.
That's worse.
Yeah, I know.
That's going backwards. Like that's a worse name.
Just like Much Music now isn't called Much Music. It's just much.
Is that legit? That can't
It's
be
legit.
real.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even tell you what you're watching.
Much what?
It could be anything. It could be anything.
God. Much
Canada.
Canada.
It's just
Much
old
Canada.
episodes of American
That's our next
Dad
podcast, Dev. Much
some weird
Canada.
anime.
Good
Oh.
Lord.
Wow.
Well, Delvin, I'm gonna let you go ahead and talk because you don't get to do a lot of that. So why don't you grace us with some Florida Man tales and whatever the hell you've been playing?
I finally got to beat some games this week. I finished Shredder's Revenge with my son.
Oh, you're
a
finishing
fun
games
experience.
now. Look at that.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It's really
How's
good.
Elden Ring coming?
I'm not doing that shit. Fuck that game. Is a question we'll talk about later on, but people are not gonna like my answer to that question. That's all I'm gonna say. But to continue, the Shredder's Revenge is great game. Did you beat it, right, Dev?
Oh yeah.
So did you appreciate the ending song?
I don't even remember it, so probably not.
Okay, because my son kept telling me like, "Hey, Dad, you're gonna love this at the end. The thing they do at the end." I'm like, "What are you talking about? Is something special?" I'm like, "Yeah, just listen. This is not a story-based spoiler at all. The ending song is a new song from Ghostface Killer and Raekwon.
Yeah, it's really
And
good.
I heard
song-
that
it's a
song
rap
before
song.
it came out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rap where I think Ghostface is the Turtles and Raekwon is Shredder, and they're rapping the battle, the fight that you're having. And it's so cool. I'm like, this is pretty cool. I had a blast playing it. It's a great game. Super short. It's like 3-4
I
hours.
skipped past that song so fast. I didn't care about that song. I was trying to get Casey Jones. The hell with that song.
Oh my God.
Heard it already. Casey Jones.
That is absolutely disappointing. Yeah. Raekwon and Ghostface. Wu-Tang.
I had heard the song was released before the game, so I had already heard the song, so it wasn't like anything new to me. So I was like,
hear
I
it
need this
again.
Casey Jones character.
God damn it. It's the Wu-Tang. Wu-Tang is for the children. But yeah, I loved it. It's great. So I beat that game. I also beat what's the game called? Bright Memory.
Bright Memory.
Infinite.
Yeah.
I
That's
can't
how
remember the name
memorable
of the
it
game.
was.
No, it's a fun game. It's short. It's like 2 hours. I want to say this game came out twice because it's just Bright Memory. And I remember playing it on Series X. It's almost like a demo or something like that.
Yeah, it was like the first half of the campaign, and then because it's made by one guy, and he was making the game very slowly. He basically released it in 2 halves, but then Bright Memory Infinite is the first half, and then the second half of the game kind of tacked onto it.
Yeah, it's fun. I think I paid like $20 for it. It's just dumbass plot. The plot is, hey, something's going on at the end of the screen. It looks like a black hole. Probably should check that shit out. And then you just fight until you get to that section. You fight these random ass creatures till you get to that. You got like a cool little sword that you press the triangle button and you can slice and dice enemies with, or you can just shoot them with the guns, or you can use telekinesis. It's very fun for as simple as it is. The graphics look really good for a game that's been made by one person. And it's just it's a lot of...
He's had support studio help. I think people ran with that one person a bit too far.
He definitely has a support team
that makes a little bit more
do
sense.
it.
Yeah,
it was. I think wasn't that like the game that opened the Series X showcase like a while back?
It was.
Yeah, it looked awesome.
It did, and then I played the original, and I was like, "This is not great."
The original's not as good.
And then I lost any interest in the sequel. I was like, I think I'm okay.
The sequel was a lot better.
It was just more like the finished product.
Yeah, I guess.
It's like, hey, we finished the game. It plays a lot like, what's that game called? Dragon something. It's like an indie. It's also an indie game. I can't remember the name of the game. It's a first person, very similar. First person action game. Not Dragon Warrior. There's 3 of them.
Shadow Warrior.
Warrior. That's it.
It's Shadow Warrior.
That's it. Shadow Warrior. It plays a lot like that, but it's not as over the top ridiculous with it. It kind of plays the story a little bit more serious, even though it's janky in the way it tells the story. Because it's an absurd story. Like, hey, here's a bad guy. You better kill him. Like, okay. Why am I doing this? We don't fucking know. Like, all right, let's do it. Here's generic bad guy number 5. You got to slice him up. Like, all right, this is fun. Use your telekinesis. Like, okay, we get it. It's a fun, dumb game. And I feel like it's not long. It's only like 3 hours long. And it has this weird thing where I think you can do it before you beat the game. You can like get other costumes, and the costumes are like a little bit uncomfortable. Cause like, okay, you can play as the main character in some jeans, or you can play with her in a schoolgirl outfit. Like,
I love Japan.
Well,
I love Japan.
No, they're gonna throw the schoolgirl outfit in there.
Yeah, what are you talking about? That's weird. That's awesome.
That's normal.
I mean, it makes sense.
That's a Wednesday.
It's okay. It's okay, Delvin. You're amongst friends. You can open up. We know you like it, so you don't have to act like you're appalled. We know.
Oh, I'm not appalled. I'm not.
Okay. Do you hear what he said? He's like,
he said,
it's
a little uncomfortable.
It's a little
How dare they?
He wasn't uncomfortable. That dude was licking the screen. He was damn tongue on the TV screen.
Up the skirt.
Yeah.
He was trying to find, how can I look up the skirt in first person? Is that a way to do this?
It made him.
Where's the mirrors?
He almost bought a PC so we could put mods on it. That's how into it he was. Okay. Like,
wait,
we
so
know what
hold
you're
on, does this
into.
mean
Not at all.
I need to cover up my shelf here because I've got a figure here that's in a schoolgirl uniform?
I'm so tired.
With Delvin around, you got to be careful. You never know.
I'm so tired of this stuff. It's like, dude, some people like it, and that's why it's there. Okay. And if
I don't have a problem with it being there.
if we're
perverts,
perverts,
it's just weird.
Then we're
it
perverts.
feels out of place in this game.
Does it?
It's just like,
yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, it kind of does.
I don't
as
think so.
nonsensical as the game is, it seems like it's a perfect fit.
Not really, because usually when you have that in a game, it kind of like alludes to it.
Get ready to defend every game that has it. Like, I'm ready to hit you with every other game. I want you to defend Metal Gear 5.
Oh,
yeah, defend quiet, please.
Yeah, let's hear you. In other games, it makes sense, but in Bright Memory, it doesn't. Be ready to defend other games.
No. That's not the case, because in other games, they basically tell you sort of words, hey, this is fan service. Like telling you this.
Talk
This
about
game
Nier,
kind of
talk about Bayonetta, Senran
It-
Kagura.
it tells you this is fan service.
So
This
is
game
this
is like-
clearly?
Yeah.
Like, no, this is a serious action game.
No,
It is not.
I don't know.
there's a
There are a
black
lot
hole
of
in the sky with guns and swords.
What
There's
Yeah, but
nothing
it-
serious
Thank you,
about
Dev.
But
this.
Thank
it
you.
plays it in a serious way. It's not like a ridiculous. It's taking it. The things that's happening in the game.
Metal Gear is
not,
more serious.
It
I mean,
takes
Resident Evil's
itself
more
serious
and you get a bunch
the
of
way
those
any
outfits with
Jean-Claude
things.
Van Damme movie takes itself serious.
Mhm.
There you go.
It's
That-
nonsense.
It's nonsensical, but it's more the. It's not like it's
Video
intentionally
games.
nonsensical. It's just bad writing. That's what it is, really. So it's like, okay, you can dress up your character in a short mini skirt. I'm like, that's a little weird. Like it's a first person game.
You're lucky
So that
you didn't have to pay extra for the option.
Right. Do you see your
that is a good
character at
point.
any point in time when you're not playing?
Only in the cutscenes, and the cutscenes are like few and far between.
It's just like, Overwatch.
Yeah.
Every other game this first person that has 30,000 skins.
You know what?
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense when you put it like that. Yeah, just like Overwatch. Like,
I
You
had
know
to go
it's
there
there,
to
but it's-
make it make sense. Good Lord.
it makes sense when you say it like that. Yeah, that makes sense. But yeah, and the last game I'm playing is you mentioned it, Phantom Pain. I never beat it. I never beat it the first time it came out. I got to the second half of the game, and I don't know what happened, but I just like I'm done with this. and it's like right. I'm playing it now. And I'm enjoying it. I've gotten to the point where you can have sidekicks help you in the mission and stuff like that. And this is cool. I think I'm gonna see how far I can get into it because it's still fun. I got to get back used to the mechanics of Metal Gear where run, slide, and all that stuff, and playing as Snake. But it's a lot different than the older Metal Gear games because it's basically open world Metal Gear. So me getting back into it, I'm kind of a little lost because what was the actual main mission I was playing? Because I'm like in the game now, it's like, go find the legendary gunsmith. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's like, and I forgot you got to. It's more like you gotta build up your army like the PSP game. What the PSP game is called?
Peace Walker.
Peace Walker.
Peace Walker. Yeah, you gotta find your little army members and have them rocket into your base and build up your camp and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh yeah. Now I remember I had to do all this extra shit instead of just playing the story. So I'm trying to get back into that, but otherwise than that, I'm having a blast.
Nice.
I know Dev's not playing nothing. What are you watching, Dev?
Yeah, I ain't played
Save
shit.
Donnie for
I was
last.
on vacation. That was a plan. Let Donnie go last.
I had a bunch of stuff that I'm watching that I was going to talk about too. So
We can talk about that
Hey.
as well. But I'm going
I'm going
first.
to talk a
I
lot.
wanna
I
hear
got a lot of things to say.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Where?
I mean, how is that any different from any other week?
It's more than most weeks, like 3
Yeah.
times more than most weeks.
But Donnie, do you
well-
have notes? Do you have notes today?
I do have notes.
Ooh, excellent.
I'm glad we just jumped right into it then. So yeah, I was on vacation and I enjoyed the hell out of that vacation. There were no video games played. I still haven't played anything. I don't really know what the hell I want to play. I'm gonna probably make a poll and let the listeners decide what the hell Devin plays next.
And it should be
Yes.
Cult
That
of
is
the
a
Lamb.
terrible idea.
It should be Cult of the
No,
Lamb.
you should do
No,
one
it-
better.
no.
You should do a Sean Capri tournament bracket, 64 games to determine what Dev plays
No,
next.
it's gonna be like 3 games. And it's gonna be games that I own. It's not something.
I'm issuing a challenge to everybody to respond to wherever that poll exists with nothing but Cult of the Lamb.
That's fine. It's not gonna be what I play because I don't.
We'll play what the people play.
No, it's still my world.
Dev doesn't give a
People's
fuck about
voice.
people.
I don't.
Man of the
I don't give a
people.
fuck.
The
I'm
people's
giving you
champ.
people an option to pick
Not
from
the
these
least
3.
bit.
Dat
From these
Ninja Dev,
3,
the people's champ.
absolutely not.
Not at all.
I'm my champ. I'm my champ.
He is the
That's it.
corporate champ. And the corporation is
Damn
himself.
straight. Damn straight.
The corporation of Dev.
But so I watched Prey. That was awesome.
Mm.
Really enjoyed that one.
Try watching
Yeah,
that. People in
I
my
need them
let
to
me.
make more of those.
Yeah,
how-
Prey
what-
was awesome. I concur. I watched that earlier this week too. It was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. I also watched Uncharted, and I was like, "Oh, this is fun. This
Yeah.
works. It's
No, it's
like
not.
all of the Uncharted movies together. I'm like, cool." And it's open for another one. I'm here for it. No problem.
Straight trash,
Um,
homie. Not
Your
good.
auntie, all right, your auntie. That movie was great. I also watched the John Wick trilogy. I had never seen John Wick.
That is
and I
great.
watched
Oh,
them
wow.
back to back to back, which was
Nice.
fantastic because
That's
they
how you
all
should
took
do
place like over a week. It was fucking awesome. So now
Yeah.
I'm really excited for part 4. I'm like, I'm gonna watch all 3 again and
Yeah.
then watch part 4 because those movies were just
Because you have to.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed that. Other than that, like that's really been all I've been doing. I have been on just a straight low key, not doing much of anything. The kids just started school today, so now I'm back into waking up way earlier than I want to, and dealing with all of that fun nonsense and traffic again. So
Sound like fun.
yeah. I did buy Dishonored on Steam because it was on sale, Dishonored 2.
Yes.
So that's gonna be on the list of things to possibly play. It's gonna be Dishonored, Cyberpunk, or what's the other game?
Cyberpunk.
Or Deathloop. Those
Cyberpunk.
are gonna be the 3 options.
Huh.
So
I'm gonna vote
We'll
for
see.
Cyberpunk.
Cyberpunk.
see, I almost played Cyberpunk. Yeah, I almost played Cyberpunk, but like I didn't want to put the disc in the PlayStation, so that's why I didn't play
I play
that.
on PC, man.
That does seem like a lot of work.
That's some lazy shit.
I don't, yeah, dude. I'm telling you, man.
My
I
God.
mean, that's the
disc is in
struggle I
the
have.
other
in there.
room.
I've been there.
The disc is in like the living room. I'm like, I'm right here though. I don't want to
Too
have to
far.
get up and put the disc in. And nah.
There's a reason why
So-
my
What you got kids
EverDrive
for?
doesn't leave my Sega Genesis, even though I've got all my games right here.
Mhm.
Like-
I have kids, but the kids are asleep when I play games. So there's no, can you go get this for me?
Let's wake the fuck up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
That's what I was gonna say. Get up, go put this disc in and go back to bed.
see, it doesn't work that way because if they get up, then I have to put them back to bed. And then by that time, I'm going to bed.
You're just we
There'll
They
gotta,
got
be no
legs.
games played.
we gotta get you like a dad makeover show or something. You're doing this wrong.
No,
Yeah.
no, I'm doing it the way I like.
You're doing it
All
too
right.
well. You're too good at it. Yeah, you need to
Yeah.
lower the standards down a bit.
Too responsible as a
No.
father. That's no good. You gotta fuck it up a little bit. Just a little grind.
Look, man, I'm trying to break these generational curses here. Cuz, come on.
Fuck
Let
that.
them do it. Kick that can down the road.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch. But yeah, so I mean that's basically it for me. So those are the 3 games. You can just at me and tell me what to play. All right. Tell me which one. If you say Cyberpunk, I'm gonna be pissed because I don't want to get the disc.
Chat, you have
'Cause then
three.
that may force me
You have 3
to
answers.
have to
I hope
buy
you all
digitally.
type into the chat Cyberpunk. Vote now.
Cyberpunk.
Deathloop or Dishonored because it's digital. It's digital, baby.
I mean, at that point, then you may as well just make the pull two games right there. Dishonored
Yeah,
and Deathloop.
yeah,
And then
yeah.
you don't have to worry about this problem.
Yeah,
This
just get
is- this is
problem
Cyberpunk
solved.
on PC.
If you want to buy it from me on PC, sure, because I don't have it on PC.
The activated perm, Choppy. This is just my hair, man. I have curly hair. Y'all just figuring this out. I
Oh,
always had curly hair.
thought he got the S
The
curl.
activate got that S curl,
Hey, yo,
baby.
what's up, big perm?
When it gets really humid outside and I've got longer hair, Donnie, my hair does the same thing, but it's like super thick, so it just is so
Always
much,
has.
which is
I've
why I
always
wear
had
hats all
curly
the
hair.
time.
I can't be news.
Oh man, it's just never been that long. I don't think
It is
like,
really
on
long
any
right
show.
now.
Yeah.
I haven't had a
It
haircut
is
in
long.
like a half a year.
Oh man,
My wife likes it though.
All I can-
So, and as long as I don't have to go to work, like I think I'm just gonna keep letting it go.
all I can see now
Wonder
is
how
the
long
blue,
it'll grow.
blue bottle of S curl, man. God,
So,
Yeah.
I could do it.
That's why I don't have no hair now. Goddamn S curl.
That's why.
yep, that moisturizer you kept it. Yeah, it's all bad. That
Yeah, that
texturizer,
shit'll
man,
fuck
all
up your-
bad. Real talk.
Completely.
All right, Donnie,
least that's what I'm
take it
blaming it
away. Let us know all the things that you've done and played, all that nonsense.
Well, like I said, I watched a lot of stuff. I've been kind of glued to my TV. I watched the Manti Deo doc on Netflix, which was pretty good.
Yeah, it just
You guys
came
have-
up yesterday. Shit.
I don't know when it came out, but I watched it today. It's pretty good. There's one oversight that I thought was pretty brutal. It's real early on, and I even hate to call him out because obviously he knows more than me. But he claims in the doc that he ended up choosing Notre Dame because he was following his faith. You know, man of God, man of Jesus, and all that. Go to Notre Dame, touchdown Jesus. Now you guys know I used to do the recruiting stuff, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Manti Te'o was 100% going to USC until Pete Carroll got ran out of town and everybody lost their championships and dude got fired and all that shit happened. That's why Manti Te'o went to Notre Dame. Like, they completely just glossed over it. They were like, he just followed his faith. I was like, that's some bullshit.
Well, that's better for TV.
If Pete Carroll was there, he was going to USC. But outside of that, very fun story. I watched several episodes of the new Beavis and Butthead. It is really funny. I enjoyed it a lot. It's a little tame, but feels like modern. They still make fun of music videos, but more so they make fun of like TikToks, like live reactions and stuff, which is pretty awesome. It's a really good
great.
idea. Yeah, it's pretty funny. Let's see here. What else did I do? I started watching the Streaming Wars, the South Park. See, all of that. I'm just living off of Dev's Paramount Plus at this point. And that's fun. Much better than the COVID special. We talked a lot about Winning Time on HBO. Well, there is a docuseries on Hulu, Legacy, the true story of the Lakers, which is kind of a follow-up to that. And it's really focuses like on the Bus family's internal struggle, which is pretty good. But the thing that I really fell for this past week that I wanted to bring up is Delvin and I have talked about the dark side of wrestling and that series, which is now defunct because they've been canceled.
Yes.
But they tried doing like the dark side of the 90s. Like, apparently this is their gimmick. They're just trying to do this thing. They have launched a show called The Dark Side of Comedy, where they profile stand-up comedians. And the first one was Chris Farley. And there were several good ones on the list, like Richard Pryor and Andrew Dice Clay and Maria Bamford and stuff like that. So I enjoyed the first episode and very eagerly excited for the future episode. So I don't really watch much television, but I have been watching a lot of TV content this past week. So I thought I'd bring that up. But yeah, as you guys said, I have notes. You guys want to talk about Cult of the Lamb, or you want to talk about PlayStation 2?
You mean listen to you talk about Cult of the Lamb? Because we won't have anything to say.
You could.
Well, I'm interested to hear what his thoughts are.
All right, PlayStation 2. When Dev went out last week, I posted pictures that I went to a retro game shop in my area. And as everybody's heard on the podcast, I considered getting another 360 after mine died to play college football. Well, I'm walking around the shop and something strikes a fancy with me over on the shelf. And that would be this very mint edition of Clock Tower. This case with mint like manual, has the registration and the advert in it. Ryan, look at this beautifully
oh my god
PlayStation disc.
Are you like made of money, Donnie? What's going on here? I
was enamored with this CD and I was like, oh my god, I have to have it. This is one of my favorite games of all time. And I've always wanted a copy, but these are hard to come by. As Ryan alluded to, they are expensive. And I have quite honestly never seen one in this condition ever.
I've never seen any PlayStation game in that condition. That is ridiculous.
Good point. It was expensive. I won't share how expensive, but it was expensive. It was more expensive than I was willing to pay. But the shop owners, he's a nice dude. So I start talking to him. If anybody out there hunts deals or negotiates, one of the best ways of negotiating something very expensive is to see if you can bundle other things into it. So I'm sitting there talking to this guy and I'm like, man, I'd really like to have it. I was like, that's a lot though. And I don't even have anything I could play it on. And I was thinking about getting a 360 or like maybe even a GameCube. But the issue with some of the older stuff for me is that I just don't really like work real hard. I'm not going to buy the expensive mods. I do have the Eon adapter for my 64. I know they make one for the GameCube. They're also expensive. The retro tinks are expensive. Like if you really want like modern, convenient retro gaming, you can spend hundreds of dollars just to hook it up to your TV. And so we're just kind of talking about it. I also hate the old PlayStation controller. And I was just kind of talking to him. And he's like, we can fix most of that for you. I was like, what are you talking about? So he explains to me that they have like these little cheap PS2 to HDMI adapters that you just plug in the back of the console. And he showed
one of those.
And it's really nice. Like it's probably every bit as good as my Eon adapter from my Nintendo 64. And it's only $6. So as one does, I start walking down that path. I'm like, all right, well, if I got the game, right? If I bought this very expensive item from you,
Mhm.
what can we do on a system? What can we do on games? What kind of games do you have? And I'm looking through his shelf, and he's got stuff that I want, Midnight Club, Grand Theft Auto, games that I enjoy. But there are no sports games. And I'm like, I really love some of these old sports games. He goes, oh, yeah, we don't put those on the shelf. Nobody buys them. He goes, we have a box in the back. And I go, do you? He goes, yeah. He goes, so if you want, we can make a deal. You just have as many of those as you want. And he originally told me he'd sell them all to me at $3 a piece. But eventually he just didn't. Eventually he just threw them all in for like one bundled price. So ended up getting a little PS2 Slim with the original box, with the original manuals, with Clock Tower, and like 30 games. I got Game Breaker, NCAA Game Breaker, NBA Street Volume 1 and 2, NFL Street 1 and 2, Fight Night. I got NCAA like 04 through 09 or 10. I got Madden. I got 2K. I got 2K2, 2K3, 2K5, 2K7. I just walked out with tons of stuff. Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Like I said, Midnight Club, all this stuff.
Didn't you get like SmackDown too?
I got SmackDown, and I got what was those old ones? I even forgot what I got.
Something else you got.
Oh, your roll?
You showing me. I think it was Break the Pain. I think
something like that. Yeah. I got those. I got several wrestling games. I got the Legends of Wrestling, Tiger Woods, Hot Shots Golf 3, Hot Shots Golf 4. So eventually, ultimately, what I'm trying to get to is I bought Clock Tower for what it cost, and he just threw everything else in for $50. The adapter, the system, all the games, including this. I got this little thing. This game controller super converter. You ever heard of this?
Yes, it allows you to use other USB controllers with your PlayStation 2.
I have not.
Not USB, wireless.
Oh, even better.
So I plug this into my PS2 and I hold a button down. It's like Bluetooth. Like I hold a button down, it starts blinking. I then hold the sync option on my controller and just syncs to that. I'm playing PS2 with my DualSense, my PS5 controller on HDMI. Like the PS2 is a remarkably cheap retro console to get into. Because unlike the GameCube or the N64 or the Dreamcast, you don't have to spend a ton of money on these HDMI converters. You don't have to spend a ton of money on wireless controllers. You don't have to spend a ton of money on any of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and I don't think that's necessarily a PS2 specific thing. I think it's just easier for some consoles than for others. Like the PS1 also is in a similar boat. Even stuff like the NES and the Genesis and stuff like that too. There are some really cheap or like solutions that will work. The only downside, obviously, with some of those converters with older consoles is that a lot of times they add input latency, or they mess with the color, or they mess with the sound, and it's not always the best experience. But I saw the screenshots that Donnie posted from his, and it looks like you've got pretty good.
It's on a 60-inch TV.
Yeah. But it's so nice. It's more along the lines of, if you're not a stickler for it being like the 1-to-1, exact colors of the original version, or if you're not worried about, like a few milliseconds of additional latency, then you're probably totally fine with a solution like that. Like there's that, the main reason why, stuff like the Eon adapter and the RetroTink exists is, to give you like the 1-to-1 version of playing that versus playing it on like a CRT. But you pay for that experience. Like,
and a lot of people also get those for capturing processes. Those are big streamers and stuff because they want to have it.
Yeah. Or me, like, back in the day, back in the old days of Ryan Turford, before I joined Carpool Gaming, I had a YouTube channel. I was streaming on Twitch like every week, and I bought all those devices for that reason. In fact, for someone who really wants to get into older consoles and wants to collect for a bunch of consoles at once, the RetroTink actually is a device I would usually recommend to people for the type of person that wants a bunch of different consoles. The RetroTink, for those that don't know, allows you to connect either composite or component cables from a console into a device, and then it'll upscale it to 1080p, while also giving you a bunch of different filters like scan lines or smoothing out the graphics if you want, if you've got like an N64 game and it looks a little too blocky or whatever, while also giving you the lag-free experience you're kind of looking for. But yeah, I actually think you've got like first of all, I think you got an amazing deal right there. I think, from the shop owner's perspective, like I think a game like, Clock Tower or a lot of the expensive games, they know that they just don't move very quickly. So that's why a lot of times you can just, if you see an expensive game on the shelf and you're getting into collecting for the first time, like never be afraid to ask about stuff or
I was not ready
ideas like that
for some of the prices this man had. I had some sticker shock. I had no idea that Sega CD and Sega Saturn games were so damn hot.
Yeah.
He had a glass case of Sega Saturn stuff at like $275 a piece.
That's cheap. That's cheap for Sega Saturn stuff.
Like,
In fact, Garrett and I were talking.
Paying for this.
Garrett and I were talking
this
week on the RPG Cave about a Sega Saturn game that I was talking about. Is like a forgotten game, and it on price charting it goes for $1,000 for just the disc. And then if you want it with the case, you're looking at about $2,000, and if you want complete in box, you're looking at about $4,000. So, yeah.
And I'm not a collector. I just like collecting the things that I like.
Yeah,
and I very much look forward to playing Clock Tower this spooky season.
I'm actually kind of jealous.
Never played it. I love it.
I don't even have a physical copy of Clock Tower, Donnie.
Scissor Man.
It's so good. It's so good. And I'll have
actually Clock Tower 2 for PlayStation 1 is like even harder to find too. It's even sadder.
I'm actually terrified to even spin it because I know it's going to get some surface.
Like I was going to say that exact same thing.
Never been played. It is so good.
Well, that's why a lot of times what people do also, instead of, going out and amassing these giant collections, is there are mods that you can get for a PlayStation 2 or a PlayStation 1 or a Sega Saturn to remove the disc drive from your console. And then you can mount a SD card in there and then you can put a bunch of disc images on there. Yeah. And in theory, if you had a big collection, you could rip the disc images and put them on a card.
I looked at doing that with the Dreamcast, but it's very expensive.
Yeah, it's not cheap, but once it's like you have to look at it this way though, Donnie. Versus instead of buying a giant collection for $1,000, you're probably spending $400 for the mod.
I keep holding out for the Dreamcast Mini. I've got my SNES Mini, I got my NES Mini, I got my Sega Mini. I'll just hold out.
Are you getting the Sega Mini too, Donnie?
No, I absolutely am not.
I want one so badly, but they don't ship them to Canada, so I need to find a way to work a deal out with someone to get one. But I'm like stoked for it because it has Sega CD games on it, and as you alluded to, Donnie, Sega CD games very expensive to collect. So having them on a device like that would be pretty cool.
I mean, we can buy them, right?
Add them to your Genesis Mini.
It doesn't play Sega CD games,
but we can buy the thing, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's why I'm actually probably going to have someone. No, actually, my current plan is probably to have someone. I'm going to try and ship it to someone who's going to Extra Life's house, and then I'm just going to pick up on him in New York because it comes out around the same time as Extra Life this year. So, yeah, just like Sean in the chat says, talk to Lee, pick it up in Rome. I've
had a bunch of fun this week. If you guys follow me on Twitter, I've been playing some wrestling games. I've been playing a lot of Hot Shots and a lot of NCAA college football, which I really enjoyed because, I mean, obviously I've known all these games, I've played all these games, but man, some of those older college football games, I gotta say, are just better than the newer ones.
Yeah.
Like the whole crowd shaking atmosphere, like the whole rivalry stuff. I was even wondering, like the load screens that give you like bios of the university or specific rivalry series, like little Wikipedia history lessons. Like, man, this is so damn good. I'm on the field and the crowd factor is up and the camera's shaking and everything. I was like, man, these are so good. And it's also just a blast of nostalgia, right? I turned on NCAA 06, which is the one I was playing, and I play in the Road to Heisman mode. And I turn on the game, and the Pixies are playing, and Jawbreaker's playing, De La Soul, and The Clash. I was like, man, listen to this. This is how games used to be. I completely forgot.
Well, especially too, like if you look back, even on like stuff like old Madden games or old NHL games, like they're still a lot of them are still really fun today. And the reason why people are just giving them away is like people just aren't interested in picking up old sports games. But I think there's a lot of merit to playing a lot of old sports games. I think a lot of them are actually still really fun. And to your point, I think a lot of them are actually better than the modern games.
Yeah.
Like
Hot Shots for sure.
I think a game like
3 and 4 are better than Everybody's Golf by a mile.
Yeah. Or like even a game like NHL 2004, I think is actually probably more fun than like the modern day NHL games. Because of course I'm from Canada, so of course I play hockey games a lot.
NHL 94, best sports game ever created.
Oh, it's so good.
I think it's because the modern games lean more into realism than fun. Like that's been a big problem with the WE2K games. They got too realistic, and it's like this is not fun. This is not enjoyable.
And I never felt that way. I don't think the NCAA series ever got that way because they quit before they could. Like Madden definitely became that way, but not NCAA. NCAA 14 is still a really fun game to play. It's just like all the modes and like even the menus, right? And I'm watching the menus and they've got all these classic plays playing in like the corner of the screen on like an FMV with all the menus on the left hand side. It just seems like there's a lot more fan service, a lot more charm.
It reminds me of old DVD menus, Donnie, because if you remember, like old DVD menus used to have so much stuff going on. Whereas if you pop in a 4K or like a standard Blu-ray now, there's like it's just a JPEG background.
It's so nice to I pop in the disc, I play, I turn it on, it loads for like 2 seconds, and then I'm in the game and I'm playing. I don't have to connect into EA servers, connecting EA's things, campaign to this thing, connecting to live. It's like I just want to play the damn game. just let me get through.
Want to sign up for our newsletter?
Right.
Yeah. Forget about the newsletter.
Except I'd like to know more.
And don't forget to click this checkbox so we can use your data for other things.
Yeah.
Connect to Uplay.
So I've been playing PlayStation 2 stuff like all week long, having a blast. That is until Cult of the Lamb released. Now, you guys know, the listeners of our show know that I've been excited about this game for too long. Bought the hoodie after experiencing the demo during E3. And I love the demo, as short as it was. I had a lot of fun with it. And I was still a little concerned with the rogue. Everybody kept talking about the rogue elements. I was like, I don't think I've ever liked a rogue game. Like when I can't even think I can even bring an example of another rogue game that I really got into. But for whatever reason, this one kept scratching my itch. So yeah, I've got notes. But before we even get into those, I mean, I just want to say at the top, this is my game of the year currently. It's honestly, it's not close. I'll admit all of the ways that Horizon, which was previously my game of the year, is a better game than this game for all the production factors and everything like that. But I have not loved a game. I have not enjoyed playing a game as much as Cult of the Lamb. And actually, in what feels like in quite some time, maybe since Ori, like I absolutely fell so hard for this game. I'm pretty sure after the first night I played it, I'm pretty sure I dreamed about it because I woke up thinking about it and then just played like all day the next day. So when I was hanging out with the Mario Kart crew, I put 11 hours into Cult of the Lamb just that day.
Wow.
The plan was I was going to take a Amazon return back and to the UPS store and drop it off. I was like, all right, I'm just going to play a little Cult of the Lamb, just do some of my checklists, and then I'll go do that. And I started playing. It was around 9:30, 10 a.m. And then I looked up and it was like 3 in the afternoon. The UPS store closed. So I had to like go make dinner. And then after dinner, I came back. Now, obviously, I should have mentioned I was basically alone for most of the weekend. So the timing worked out really well for me. It was bad family stuff that made that happen. But the timing worked out well for me that I had a lot of free time. But then I got back on that afternoon, shortly after dinner, and I played until whatever we got off the phone, right? Like it's like 2 a.m, like the rest of the day. So I haven't had a game like hook me that hard in a long time. Okay, so I've got notes. I think it's hard. I feel like I can compare Cult of the Lamb to like 10 games, and that makes it really difficult because it's got a lot of splashes of a lot of different things in it. There's a lot of elements to Cult of the Lamb. But honestly, the game is just, there's a lot to Cult of the Lamb in terms of just kind of explaining the loop. So I'll do my best, but that was honestly like the first thing I was thinking of. Is like it feels challenging to kind of write down what Cult of the Lamb is. It's an action adventure dungeon crawler with a town base building simulator kind of attached to it, which is a lot, right? That's a lot of things. So story, you start the game as a sacrificial lamb and you are brought back from death by the one who waits, who is imprisoned by the bishops of the old faith, who you are entrusted to go and kill, armed by the power of the one. So that's how the game opens up. That's how you begin the game. And then here's how I detailed the loop. So the loop basically boils down to this. You go on dungeon crawling crusades, each are procedurally generated, where you hack and slash enemies and bosses and obtain resources like tarot cards and other items that have buffs to your characters or your village. Then you return back to base. You preach, conduct rituals, raise your loyalty, instruct your cult following, harvest their devotion so you become more powerful, upgrade the facilities around your town to keep them happier, more willful, wash, rinse, repeat. You guys with me?
Mm-hmm.
I'll make sure I'm not losing you here. The hook, as best that I can describe it, for me, because I think this game will kind of serve two audiences. I think there'll be an audience that's there for like the rogue combat, like your Hades lovers. Like they're going to judge this game based on that, right? And that's not me. I'm not that. I really got hooked by the town management side, and I don't necessarily know if those people are looking for something like that, kind of in the rogue game. But I got hooked on this loop of raising my cult, partly because of the charm. It's incredibly funny and dark and twisted, which appeals to my dark and twisted mind. But the second was, this is what I wrote down. Every time I focused on solving one aspect of the game, another was waiting on me. As my cult grew, so did my need to keep everyone fed. My need to go on crusades to acquire more seeds, to harvest devotion, to upgrade my farm. And once I thought I had it all solved and I streamlined my food production and I had everybody fed and happy, now I'm suffering loyalty within my ranks. I've got dissenters and folks that are casting me out. Now I had to streamline my devotion process and get my members in line, which made me I had to go crusade, find more volunteers, so I could upgrade my stocks and all of that stuff. And by the time I got that done, all the people that I was trying to save get back in line, they grow old and die, suddenly have a human resources issue. Now I need to replace cult members, figure out what to do with the ones that have died. And it just keeps... it was funny. I didn't read a review, but I saw a Twitter impression from a popular gaming journalist, and they said that it was a light sim. And I'm sure that it is, right? I'm sure you can find any game on PC that's incredibly more systems heavy. But for me, this game feels like it's systems. It honestly, I think it felt light because like in the beginning, you get introduced to everything slowly. But once you get a hold of the game, there's a lot going on. There's a lot that you have to kind of manage and keep up with. And the thing, as I'm trying to explain, it got to the point where I was doing like loops without even honestly completely forgot about the need to go and crusade to kill the bishop and like advance the game. Like that was just on the back burner, like out of sight, out of mind. I was just I've got to upgrade this facility. I've got to upgrade my farm. I've got to be able to bury people. I've got to be able to murder people. I've got to be able to find like this stuff. And then I was like, hours would go by and I'd be like, oh yeah, I am also supposed to be trying to kill these people. And completely just out of sight, out of mind, Dev, I wrote down in big bold letters, I think the combat feels great. It's not like new, it just feels real good. It's got that Castle Crashers, Death's Door type of crunchiness, smoothness. You get a slash attack, and you get a range attack, like a power. They call it a curse, like a power attack, which I guess is like Hades, right? It's like kind of Hades-esque. And then you get a roll. And that's like your dodge mechanics. You get to roll, hack and slash, roll out of the way, hack and slash. Every time you go to do a crusade, that's the rogue procedurally generated part. So every time you go to do a crusade, the room completely mixes up and rebuilds itself. The enemies get mixed up. That's when you choose a weapon. And I do think the weapons vary greatly. There's like a hammer, there's an axe, there are gloves, there's swords. I like the fast weapons, swords and gloves. I hated the hammer. I was very happy. I got a ritual at some point that allowed me to basically exit a run whenever I wanted to. I could just like hold down a button and I would pay a fee in some of the resources that I gathered, but I could still just leave. And I just got to the point where anytime I had a run with a hammer, I just left. I just canceled it right then and there because I hated the hammer.
So do you not get to choose a weapon, or they just give you a weapon?
They give you a weapon to start. And then as you progress and you go through each like level, there are paths where you can change your weapons, and they'll show you on the map that like if you choose to go this way, there's a weapon upgrade here, like either a little shop.
Like Returnal.
Does it?
Yeah, Returnal has some like when you're talking about how the dungeons are done, it reminds me of Returnal.
Okay.
My question is, do I have to keep my followers alive, or can I just let them all die? Like, do I need the followers? Do I have to take care of them?
No, you don't.
That's
hang on.
I needed to hear.
Yeah, hang on. So the combat felt great. The sim management part felt great. And then as I was about to say, the one thing that I am really impressed with the game is that everything felt purposeful. Everything has a purpose. Everything in the game is like a resource or a currency used to do something else in the game. Like nothing feels wasted. The best way that I can make that point is, so you have to keep all your members fed, right? Like you've got to feed them. The bigger you are, the more food you've got to produce. Well, the members, like they poop. So you have all this poop around your town. You either have to clean it up and collect it, or you have to build an outhouse. Well, you need the poop to fertilize the plants to grow the food that they need. And you got to grow better food, because if you feed them crappy food, they will get sick. They will get ill. They'll stop working. You'll lose loyalty. You lose devotion. And everything in the game cascades out like that. It's amazing, like how many systems interact and play with each other. There always feels like there's a tit for tat, right? There's a rock, paper, scissors effect kind of across the board with all these different little systems that are going on. And that stuff really gets me going. I've always been that way. I kind of liked, I've talked about for a long time, Sim Golf. I was really into like Sim City back in the day. I was talking about, what was that game I was talking to you about, Ryan? Retro City.
Oh yeah, Retro City Rampage.
Yeah, I love that game because of and like I've talked about The Godfather, right, on Wii, like taking over the town, taking over the rackets, like that whole little like city builder, but like building up your gang, you know, to become stronger is a loop that I can get invested into, especially like when I understand everything. And Cult of the Lamb definitely scratched that itch. It scratched the hell out of the itch because it was so funny. For instance, so you'll have dissenters. If you let your loyalty drop too far, you'll have folks that'll dissent. They'll pull out megaphones and they'll start telling all the other villagers to stop listening to you, that you're not the Messiah, you know, all these things.
You just kill them, right? You
can kill them if you have the murder ability. You can also, here's the thing, if you kill one of your loyalists in front of everybody, you'll lose more loyalty. But if you wait
to be like a murder at that point.
But if you wait till they sleep, you could just kill them in their sleep and get rid of the body. Like it's devious like that. Or you could convince another cult member to kill them instead. Or you could perform a ritual where you pit them against each other in a pit fight. Or you can just go into your church and sacrifice them to the heavens. Like there's a bunch of different ways to handle that problem. And they are so funny. And as you level up and become stronger, you do unlock these rituals. And they have like these add-ons where you basically choose kind of like the lesser of two evils. And some of them are really dark and twisted. Like they really kind of push in. Like you can kind of choose, like, are you going to be kind of a fair cult leader? Or are you going to be like a real cult leader? And you guys know how I play Infamous. I went hard on these cult members. Like you can take their money, you can take all their stuff, you can make them not eat. It's hilarious. My wife was very disturbed when she saw the game and saw me explain it to her, because I was like, you might like it. It's like Animal Crossing. And then I explained her the actual, she was like, no, this is not like
satanic Animal Crossing.
Satanic Animal Crossing.
Yeah, Cult Crossing. It is so good. Oh man, I had so much fun. I did write.
Everything you're saying sounds great until it gets to like the resource management and stuff. Like that's the one thing that turns me off. Like I don't want to do any of that. You are the people's champ. You're here for the people. I am the exact opposite. I am the corporate champ. Screw all y'all. Y'all fend for yourselves. I'm here for me.
I did sit down and I tried to come up with, the next note that I had on my note was, why is this different for me than other rogues? Like I wanted to see if I could maybe answer that. Here's what I came up with. I'm happy to hear if you guys agree or disagree. I don't know how much a self-diagnoser I am. So obviously, I've tried a lot of rogue games over the years, and I don't think I've ever liked really any of them. The majority of the time, it's the progression that always gets me. The reason I don't like these games is you die, and you start all over, usually from the beginning. Like you lose everything, and it's like, oh, you got to go forward. I never really felt that way with Cult. I think it's that city builder part. Like I could die in the middle of a run and I could lose all kinds of stuff, but I still got back to my town and my town was still going and I still had to do those things for the town. So I never felt like I was starting all over. Also, I did feel like the game was a little more forgiving. Like I had powers that let me buff out hearts. I did do this weird, it ended up screwing me by the end of the game, but I did it doing like this. I'll just say it. I think I cheesed the game a little bit. I don't even remember which ones they were, but I got a power that let me turn all tarot cards into extra hearts. And then I got another power that let me start each run with 4 tarot cards. So I basically just boosted my health by 4 hearts every run, which was nice. I think that helped me kind of run through it. If anybody out there is listening, the game took me about 18 and a half hours to beat. I think that's longer based on some of the other stuff that I've seen on Steam and from people on Twitter. So I watched Sean had an epic moment that I wish we streamed. He was fighting this boss and he had a 1 heart and like a half a heart, and he had to kill this boss, and he totally pulled it off. It was amazing after this run. I did not have any such moments. If I didn't make it to that boss with the majority of my health intact, I was not coming out alive. But I don't think the game was hard. The final boss, the final stretch did give me, I was kind of cussing my controller there for a minute. That took me a minute. I had to leave, come back. Like I had to take like a break, come back. But I don't feel like it was as hard. I think like Betty and Death's Door was harder than anything that I fought in this game. So I don't think it was too bad. I think and I didn't up the difficulty, it's just normal. But I think the normal difficulty was pretty solid.
And that's the consensus I've heard from a lot of people too that are also playing it. Like the difficulty curve is not, as difficult as a lot of other, games with roguelike elements or anything like that. So it sounds like pretty approachable as long as you're okay with some of the management stuff or, some of the roguelite elements.
Yeah. My little cheese effect, that was actually what I think made the final boss so much more of a challenge for me. It didn't work on the final run because I didn't go into a crusade. I didn't get tarot cards. So I had basically had like this little advantage that I've been using and exploiting the entire game that was taken away from me at the end of the game. I was like, damn it. So at that point, I just had to like get good. But honestly, like I said, I had that buff that let me just leave early, which is really nice. So if I was dying and I didn't want to lose the resources, because there were times where I was just going on runs, not to advance the story, but just to get more resources. I need more wood. I need more stone. I need more seeds. I need more stuff. So I would just do that. There's also a lot of stuff to do, like outside of the crusades, outside of your simulator, like your town sim, you also have like, there's a board game that you can play called Knucklebones. You've got to like do this dice game. You can go fishing. There's these other villages. You can travel around. There's like a little map. You can go to other places, and those other places usually have a shrine that you can get more devotion for. And that's really kind of the loop of the game. Go combat, fight people, come back, get more devotion so you can get stronger to go back and keep fighting people. So I just got on this loop where I go on a crusade, come back, do all of my chores, right? Preach to my folks, do a ritual, take care of them, farm, crop, clean the house, fix the beds. And then I would go to each spot to collect my devotion. Go to the fishing hole, go to the dice game, go to the other place, go to the other place, go back, go on another crusade. And I just sat there and I just kept going in that loop. And I just kept doing it over and over and over and over again. And just
is there nobody you can assign to clean up the poop?
You can, and there's an upgrade for that's the thing. There's an upgrade for everything. You just have to unlock it to do there. But eventually the villagers will take care of that for you. Eventually they'll farm for you. Eventually they'll do all that. And I think that's kind of the beauty of the game, is that you learn how to do all of that, and then you learn how to make other people do that for you. But when you make other people do that, you're aware of that operation. So like you can tell when that operation isn't running the way you need it to run, when you're not getting from that operation what you need to get. And by the time I was done, man, I felt like I had a well-oiled machine. My town was humming. They were doing everything I needed to do, which was great. And also you can just, you can have fun with it. Like I made Sean, I made Rebecca. I threw Sean in the stocks immediately as soon as I brought it in.
As you should.
Yeah, you can have all those you can have that Animal Crossing fun with it too. Like you can just build a cute town if you want to do that. You can have fun by making your friends and making them fight each other to the death. You can do that type of stuff. Like I got into the thing where I kept convincing my cultists to kill the aging people. So these people get old and they can't work anymore. And they'll die. And if they die, you have a couple options. You can bury them, which requires resources. You got to build the burial plots. You got to make the tombstones, right? Or you can harvest their meat and then use that in the food.
Wow.
Or you can sell the villager, the cultist meat, which is very valuable. It's an easy way to make some quick cash.
Can you just sell the cultist? Like once they get old, can I sell them that way?
No, but you can get rid of them in other ways. There are other ways you can get rid of them. But yeah, once they get old, they're like
baby.
they're not helping you anymore. But then I did unlock a perk that I got more loyalty and devotion by having old people. I unlocked like the respect your elders path. So then I started keeping a lot of old people around until they died, and then I always harvested their meat. It's very twisted and funny in that way. It's very dark, man. Very dark. So if you're looking for that dark type of game, that dark humor, this game is all of that and more. It's not all rainbows though. Wrapping up here, I did run into some issues primarily at the end of the game. Towards the end of the game for me, my game started running poorly, really choppy. And what I identified was you've got tiles that you can put on the floor to like make paths or little areas, like little cobblestone or gold or things like that. And I had a bunch of that out, and it would like not blink, but like if I moved the camera a certain way, it would disappear and kind of reappear, and I would keep seeing it. I deleted it all, and it improved the performance of the game. Problem is, I would save the game and quit and come back, and it would all be there again. So they're still trying to iron out some stuff. And I know they have a bunch of bugs and stuff that they're trying to report. And watching Sean play, the gameplay struggled a bit on the first boss on Series X. I'd be scared of maybe trying to give this a go on Switch. I haven't seen it on Switch, but I'd be a little concerned.
He played it on Series X after having that beautiful graphics card and ultra wide monitor.
ID at Xbox. Yeah, remember they are amongst the chosen people.
It's a very fancy box. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't play it there. Plus achievements. Can't miss achievements.
So
those Steam achievements.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
Look,
same thing.
I could go on and on and on, and I'll just end by just saying I really love the game. If you guys haven't if you couldn't tell, the game was amazing and an absolute blast. And it's a special game. It really, really is. And I hope everybody plays it. It's definitely my indie of the year, but this is my game of the year. Like I'm not going to subjugate it to just indie game because I think it's better than that. This is one of the more, because it's so funny, because it has the base building and the rogue combat stuff. Like it appeals to so many people, and that's the part that I worry about. Is like maybe it appeals to a lot of people, but it doesn't like fit for most. Like maybe people come to it wanting different things. I didn't come to it with really any other expectations other than being a sadistic cult leader, and this game let me do that, and I thought it was awesome. So, and plus you get to kill little Animal Crossing beings, they got little cute eyes.
See, that kind of entices me.
Yeah, it's fun, man. It's hilarious.
It makes me think of like the woodland critters from South Park.
Yes, that's exactly what it feels like.
Anybody else put it in their cart while he was talking? Just me?
No, just you.
Just me.
I mean, I talked about it on the Xbox Drive earlier today, but like all the stuff Donnie talked about just there, and then hearing Sean talk about it there, like this is the type of game that I want it to change my mind on it, and I do have it on my list to try it at some point before the end of the year, especially like when we do our game of the year discussion over at Carpool or other game of the year discussions I'm doing with other places I work. It'll be important for context to have at least played it for that reason. But it sounds to me like this game in a lot of ways is kind of like a modern day version of the game ActRaiser for Super Nintendo. If any of y'all ever played that, where it's a side scrolling action platformer, but also it got this like city building element to it as well, where as you complete each mission, you then go back to your city and you build up your city. And depending on how well you do in that section, you'll get extra resources to use in like the platforming action settings. So very similar kind of gameplay loop as what Donnie's trying to describe here, which is totally a turnoff for someone like me, because I don't always love city building in games. Like I'm not someone who likes, the SimCity type of games or any like games like that. And likewise, I also don't like games with roguelike elements either. But at the same time, I'm going to also try and it with an open mind at some point. But I'm definitely probably waiting at this point because I know I've got a lot on my plate for the next.
And that's what I was hoping to convey to folks. A lot of folks that listen to PSVG should know I hate rogue games.
It doesn't feel like rogue to me at all, because
it doesn't.
It's just a dungeon. It's just a dungeon that's like randomly generated. If you die, you just go. Like that doesn't feel rogue to me at all. Like,
it's not as punishing sounding as like something like Dead Cells or
exactly
other roguelike games.
Exactly. It didn't feel that way, but it is, and it didn't bother me. So if there are other people out there that are turned off by that term when they read about the game, just know as somebody who doesn't like those games and honestly can't think of another one to even tell you I even half enjoyed. I love this one. So maybe it's the rogue game for people that don't like rogues.
Like maybe it's like the gateway drug even to
Yeah.
those type of games too, like, or even like city building games, because maybe a lot of people are like Dev and I and don't like the resource management stuff, but maybe a game like this kind of wins you over at least a little bit on that.
And it's real simple. It's not like Animal Crossing. Like, you're not going to be building shovels that breaking over and stuff like that. Like, it's not that meticulous. It's pretty simple.
The shovels break in Animal Crossing?
Yes, you've got to
Yeah.
rebuild
Oh,
so many
the
whole
wild all over again. God
Exactly.
damn it to hell.
Yep. It's not that meticulous. It's a higher level than that. It's more broad strokes. You just kind of got to get used to kind of checking on your things, like making your rounds every time you come back.
Look, man, do the things and I won't kill you. You don't do the things and you get sacrificed.
The beauty of it is that you can totally be that cult leader. You can do that. You can actually make them do that. You can make them work for 3 days without food. Like that's one of the things you can do.
Donnie, you're definitely going to be made a lamb and clean my outhouses.
That's the beauty of the game. The beauty of the game.
Delvin, you're getting sacrificed. Sorry.
I'm aware of that. Once he
I mean, it's either that or fighting some other
like,
cultist to the death, apparently.
I need to see old Delvin. Old Delvin, the cult of Lamb character. He's just in his little gown.
See old Delvin.
You just can't work anymore. You're relaxing.
You're just caning it around.
Also, you see this until I remember, oh yeah, what do you do with those elders again? Oh, you just chop them into meat, apparently, and sell them or eat them.
Right?
Yep.
Madness. Absolute madness. Well,
I
guess that bacon. Well,
Soylent Green
does it for what we've been playing, Donnie. Let's finally get into the news.
I've got some GameStop footage of Delvin, guys. You ready?
Oh God,
I'm ready.
Wait a minute. What's this? This ain't enough. Make it enough. Damn.
Yeah,
definitely how they treat him there.
Okay, let's update on the news. We got Game Pass games. Coffee Talk is out right now. Midnight Fight Express is out next week. Opus and Exapunks comes to PC on the 25th. Commandos 3 HD Remaster is out day 1 on the 30th, as is Immortality and Immortals Phoenix Rising and Tinykin. Game Pass perks for Halo Infinite, Multiverses, and Crossfire X. Leaving Game Pass this month, Hades, Elite Dangerous, Myst, NBA 2K22, 12 Minutes, Spiritfarer, 2 Point Hospital, World War Z, and one of the most amazing games, if you have not played it yet, What Remains of Edith Finch. How do you guys feel about this month's Game Pass lineup?
I mean, it's okay. Like there's some stuff there that's interesting. I know Midnight Fight Express was a game that we saw during the Xbox showcase this year that I thought looked pretty good. So
I didn't like the demo very much.
Check out. But yeah, I never played the demo, so maybe that's not a good one. But Immortals Phoenix Rising, great open world game. I really liked it, when it came out. Although that was the game that I decided to review Watch Dogs, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and that back to back, and I beat all 3 of those games in less than 6 weeks. And by the time I got to Immortals Phoenix Rising, I was kind of just done with Ubisoft open world games. So I was a little bit downer on that experience that I probably would have, but I think that's a great game for people to go and check out. But we talked about this earlier today on the Xbox Drive, Sean and I, and man, that list of games leaving this month hurts to see. Like there are so many good games leaving Game Pass this month.
Yep. The Immortality game is the Sam Barlow joint. He's the Her Story and Telling Lies guy. My wife played both of those, right?
I like those games too. They're really good. Like I mean, I like FMV games. So I forgot about that until you brought that up again. So I do kind of want to check that out at some point too.
Yep. Data miners have found references to a PlayStation PC launcher in Marvel's Spider-Man on PC. So Sony looks like they could be rendering a PlayStation or a PC launcher for PlayStation. Where have you heard that before? Been telling you all
right
that
here on this show.
Now. right?
Mhm.
Sony's also planning to introduce PlayStation Network integration into its PC games. PlayStation also stood up a PlayStation for PC webpage. So a lot of people are getting excited about more PlayStation support coming to PC. Could this possibly mean cross-buy between PS5 and PC one day?
Hell no.
Yeah, I don't believe that for a second.
No.
Yeah.
These people coined the term dual entitlement. I don't think that's going
Mhm.
to happen at all. Maybe
Nah,
within
Doc.
their own launcher. I probably think that within their launcher, yes.
I still don't think that'll happen because I don't know if we are gonna.
You don't think they're going to do a launcher?
Games. No, I think
Oh,
they'll do a launcher.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think you're gonna have. You're gonna have to still buy the PC version.
I don't
Yeah.
think they
Like,
can
look
get
at-
away with that. I think
They
they're
don't even
they
want to give
can.
you the PS5 version if you got the PS4 version.
Right.
That is also true. Yep.
Yeah.
You don't.
Sure.
They
Fair.
don't care if they can or can't get away with it. They're gonna do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be an interesting bet.
Pay
I
for
will bet you they don't.
Or what if they did it this way? What if they did kind of what they do with, upgrading PS4 versions to PS5 versions where you can pay a fee?
You
To
get the
get, like, the
$5
PC
to get the PC version.
Yeah, they could
It'll
do
be
something like that.
30. It'll be like.
Well, yeah,
30 to
it'll
get
be
the
higher
PC
than
version.
what the
It's not
upgrade
gonna
fee
be
is now.
$10.
I think they'll do cross-buy, but only within their own launcher. Yeah, you'll have to play
Pay
within their launcher.
$100, you get all the versions.
Yeah.
PS4, PS5.
Nah,
PC.
see, even in that launcher, it's just gonna remote play to your PS5. That's what that's gonna be.
Yeah, that's possible.
Oh my
Possible.
god.
I think they're
Days
gonna-
of buying a PS3 game that comes with a PS Vita version of the same game those days are over. Not
toast.
happening again.
You guys should want more. You should reach higher. Like, listen, you're all just defeated. You're like, no.
We just don't believe. It's like
No.
Nintendo. There's no point. They're gonna do
You
what
know
the
how
fuck
you
they
know-
want.
You know how you know when you got a parent that ain't shit and they keep showing you that they're not shit? That's how I feel with PlayStation.
They have showed us
Like,
exactly who they are.
Fair.
We
Fair.
know you ain't shit. we just accept it now at this point.
And it's funny seeing all the
Mm-hmm.
highlight, all the headlines and the blogs going up. Is PlayStation gonna have a PC launcher? Duh.
Duh,
don't-
like
They don't want to give up that 30%. That's a lot. Right? They're not
Mhm.
going to give up that. Even at a lower cost, even at 20%, 15%, that's 15%. You know how much money they're going to make off of Spider-Man?
yeah.
PC?
If
Like
you
that?
don't have to
do more
lose
money.
it, why should we?
Yeah,
Just
they don't
build
have
a
to.
launcher.
Yeah.
They're going to build a launcher. Call of Duty's early campaign access has been confirmed. We've been talking about this in our rumor mill for a month. Feels like longer than a month, and this was confirmed this week. Those that digitally pre-order Modern Warfare 2 can play the campaign a week early, beginning on October 20th.
Whoa.
Anyone who pre-orders a digital edition of Modern Warfare 2 will receive early campaign access in addition to a host of other previously announced awards. This grants you up to a week to complete the incredible multi-mission single-player globe-trotting operation before the full game launches on October 28th, says the blog. I think this is cool for two reasons. One, I'm just all about the campaign personally. Two, lets everybody play the campaign before the multiplayer goes. So you can get into the campaign and get used to all the controls and everything before multiplayer goes live. Which I think is
Those
neat.
multiplayer people aren't doing that. They don't care.
I don't think the multiplayer player people will, but I think the campaign. I think it might mean more campaign people play multiplayer. Is
Yeah.
what I'm trying to get at.
Like it's not fighting for your time between like when
Exactly.
it's
You don't have to
playing
make a
the
choice
campaign.
when you get the game. You
Yeah.
can play one and then you're ready to play the
I
other.
don't know if those people ever made a choice. It was like, I'm only playing the multiplayer. I don't care about this campaign.
I do wonder if this might make. I wonder if this would bump the numbers. If this is an attempt to bump the numbers on how many people play the campaign, if they can raise that up a bit,
Yeah.
giving it an
Smart.
exclusive window.
I think it's really smart. I like it.
I mean, just sell me the campaign by itself, please.
They are for the price of $70. Like you can just play the
No.
campaign by itself. An internal document leaked, as so many things have leaked this week, that revealed that Warzone 2, at least internally, is tentative to launch November 16th. It's the same day as God of War, right?
No, it's
I don't
actually
think so.
afterwards. Yeah, you
Yeah.
said
After?
the 16th, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's afterwards. God of War is
Okay.
the 9th.
The 9th. Okay.
Yeah.
So November for Warzone 2, October for Modern Warfare 2. I'm hyped for this. You guys know I already exchanged my gift cards with Delvin. I've already pre-ordered. I'm locked and loaded. I'm ready to go on Steam. I'm ready for the beta. I'm playing the F1 map. I'm playing the campaign early. I want all of it. Give me all the Modern Warfare.
Mhm.
I'm too excited for Modern Warfare. Like that's the thing I keep realizing. I'm way too excited for Call of Duty. I haven't been this excited for Call of Duty in years.
Yeah. That week and a half is so stacked with games though. That's why I'm still not day one with Call of Duty. I do want to get it and play the campaign again before the end of the year at some point. That is kind of on my list to do, but maybe not at launch because, we got Mario plus Rabbids the same week as well as some other stuff. So it's like, it's hard to, want to jump into the Call of Duty campaign when there's so much other stuff out. But I am also like you, Donnie, like this is probably the most excited I've been for Call of Duty since, the Modern Warfare reboot a couple of years ago.
This feels like
really excited for that too.
It just feels like, to me, it feels like they're going out with a bang. It's kind of the last one before everything changes. This is all hands on deck. They're throwing everything at it. We're coming off the incredible, like you said, the reboot, which was awesome a couple years ago. That was great. Now we get the follow-up version, and it's like we get a brand new Warzone. It's like everything is all coming to this point, and I think they're gonna rock it. I'm very excited. Little Orpheus finally coming to consoles and PC September 13th. If you guys remember, I played this little demo last year, and it was delayed, or 2 years ago, I think. 2 years ago? God, has it been that long? This was the game that was delayed for all the Russia stuff. Remember they had like their Soviet comrades and stuff, and then, like this game was set to release right when Russia invaded Ukraine. Like it was like that week, the week after. They were like, we got to delay the game, guys. So it was a cool demo, though. This is a cool platformer. It's got like dinosaurs and stuff in it. I don't know if I'll be playing it September 13th, but I'm definitely playing it. I'm definitely going to play this game at some point.
I don't even remember it.
Okay.
I literally know nothing about this game either.
Moving on. Astro's Playroom dev said next game will be its biggest game to date. So get you excited? Got a couple Astro games now. Do you want a bigger Astrobot game?
I didn't want the last Astrobot game. So
the PS5 Astrobot game is
really good.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
See, I want that Astrobot game. I don't want it to be a VR game. That's part of what I'm sitting there thinking. I'm like, I wonder if it's probably a VR game.
Or you never know. It
Maybe
could be something besides Astrobot too. It doesn't even have to be an Astrobot game. It could be something something else, like some other property, or maybe a new IP. Even who knows?
Sure. Wave Race is the next game coming in Nintendo Switch Online.
It finally happened. The best part about this too,
like it did.
I don't know if y'all knew this, is like I was a little bit worried that maybe they wouldn't be able to do this game because of all the Kawasaki licensing in the game, but that was actually removed from the Wii version of Wave Race that was on Virtual Console, but it's all back. You got all your Kawasaki ads back in the game.
I'll take this one for a spin. I have it on my 64, but I'll take this one for a spin. I love Wave Race. I mean, come on, Dev.
It's still fun. It's still fun.
Amazing water physics were mind-blowing back in the day.
It was the one game to get in the launch window for the N64 that was good because no one played Mario 64. Please.
See,
Wave
you
Race.
don't know, Dev.
Wave Race.
Don't even know. Dragon Ball Z crossover event in Fortnite's live. You can get Goku, you can get Bulma, you can get Vegeta, and somebody else. Is it Beerus?
Yeah,
Beerus.
Yeah. Any of you
ever
guys
wanted to play with Goku with a 9mm? There you go.
Yeah, or an Uzi.
You can do a Kamehameha to kill people too.
They need to just have him with like a do-rag and everything and some Timbs, and then it'll feel right.
Yeah.
I think it's Fortnite. You do whatever the fuck you want in that game. I got to buy Vegeta. I'm definitely going to get the Vegeta pack. I'm not going to get everything, but I'm definitely getting the Vegeta pack for sure.
It's just really weird seeing Bulma do the Kamehameha, and she's Kamehamehing Iron Man and Kratos, and it's just like
Fortnite's crazy.
And then Kratos throws the Kamehameha back. It's just like, what the is going on?
It's your imagination. Yeah. A new Lord of the Rings game was announced by 2K publisher Private Division, being developed by Weta Workshop, and is expected in 2024. We have no idea what the game is. Just that it is Lord of the Rings.
Replacing that Golem shit.
It could be anything.
Coming in 2 years. I don't believe it.
But
who? Weta Workshop? Who?
I just want to go. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't even know what they've made. I tried even finding what they've made other games, and I couldn't.
Well, Weta Workshop isn't a games company. They made the effects for Lord of the Rings,
right?
so like I don't know what kind of game staff they've got going on there, or what kind of game.
It's a VR game full of effects. That's what it is. It's a VR game where you walk around.
Don't say
Lord of the Rings
ruining
just effects.
All of my excitement. Dying Light 2's upcoming DLC, Bloody Ties, to be shown at Gamescom opening night live on Tuesday. Apparently a lot of things there's going to be at Gamescom because Amazon's leaking all that shit ahead of time.
Yep.
We got store pages going up for everything. Dead Island, Tales from the Borderlands, like all kind of Tiger Woods, like Amazon just like, fuck your Gamescom. We're doing it now. We'll do it when we want to. But yeah, apparently Dying Light 2 will be there. We were just talking about the DLC last week, and apparently ask you shall receive. We'll see what it's going to be. I'm lukewarm on more Dying Light 2. We'll see. We'll see if they can get me excited, but I can't imagine changing like any of my planned gaming time to go back to Dying Light 2 right now.
I'm so excited about that. That's why you have a whole PC.
Oh, and it was great. I loved what I did, but I don't want to go back to. I don't think I want to go back to it. I think if I wanted to, I think I'd rather play Dying Light 1 again, or Dead Island. Like I'm eager to see what the Dead Island. Maybe I'll play that instead.
I'm curious to see what Dead Island 2 is.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Oh man, I hope that song comes back.
I think you have to.
That's the hit.
Yeah,
it's so good. It was one of the best credit songs ever, you guys.
Speaking of Tiger, PGA 2K23 details are apparently coming on Monday, but it leaked out early today that Tiger will be the cover athlete. Now, we knew Tiger was going to be involved. He's the cover athlete, but one of the things that the Amazon listing did unveil is that you can play as PGA professionals, both male and females, and Tiger Woods is confirmed, so you can play as Tiger Woods. There's also Top Golf mode coming, where you can play Top Golf range stuff, multiplayer online with friends, which I think is kind of cool. It gives that game a little more appeal.
Box art looks good.
The box art looks great. Yeah, no, especially the collector's edition box art looks incredible.
Yeah.
I'm a little, so there was the Amazon listing apparently, before it was pulled down, referenced an October release date. I was thinking this game would come out next spring. The game should have come out like now. So maybe it was planned to come out now and just delayed. But the thing is, golf season's over and has basically been over. So it releasing in October seems a little weird. But this whole game, season? I'm sorry?
There's a golf season? I just thought golf just happened whenever. There's like an actual season?
There's a season that's built around the majors.
Yeah.
And the last major of the year was the British Open, and that was in June. We've already done the Masters and the US Open and the PGA and all that's done. So,
but it's a PGA game, like with Tiger Woods on the cover. I still think even if they launch it into October, it's still going to sell anyways. Like,
I think it will sell to people. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think it would sell to people that are going to buy it. I don't think it's going to go gangbusters. Right. But I just think it's a little weird to just like, because October is really the off season. Yeah. Like there's no golf going on in October, you know, like it's really the off season. It just feels it's kind of a shame that they couldn't launch now because there's a ton of buzz in golf right now because of the Live Tour and all the stuff that's going on there. So it'd be interesting to see what that's going to do. And it's going to be, I don't want to say concerned because I'm not concerned because the PGA 2K golf game, which used to be the golf club, they make the best golf game that has been made in like 2 decades. Like their gameplay is great. Their content I'm concerned about. The courses that they mentioned, like their licensed courses that they're proud of, are not courses that I think most people care about or even recognize. We already know that EA's golf game, which doesn't have Tiger, has like all the majors. Like it's got the Masters and it's got the US Open and it's got, I think, the Players Championship. So it's weird that we have It's a little strange as a fan of golf right now that we have dueling golf tours in the world. There is the PGA Tour, which is in a heated fight right now, both legally and on media with the Live Tour. And instead of getting like that story, we're getting competing PGA Tour games. We're getting 2 PGA Tour games, the EA game versus the 2K game. But it's going to be like both games with like half the people they could have. It's just, It's a little weird. It's a little odd.
Yeah. That's just like, releasing a
2K
version of Madden or like two competing football games where like half the NFL teams were in one game and the other half were in the other games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's strange. I don't expect the roster to be huge for this PGA game. And the reason that this probably wasn't announced is they probably don't even, I wonder if it's even been final yet. Because if they're only going with the PGA folks and none of the folks that defected to Live Tour, yikes, that roster is going to be barely noticeable to most people.
Well, you got to make your own character at that point for all the fun.
Don't you just create a character? Isn't that the whole point? Like,
well, actually, a lot of people are upset about the last one because it was just create a character. They want to play. People want to play as Tiger. They want to play as Dustin Johnson. They want to play as the pros.
Kind of madness.
That 2K game is going to sell purely off people wanting to play as Tiger.
Yeah, the Tiger alone is going to move units. You're absolutely right, and so is Ryan. Like, Tiger is huge. We talked about that when the game was announced. I'm interested to know who, like, Tiger versus the Masters is interesting. That's like as a market sample. That's a very interesting in today's day and age. Like 10 years ago, absolutely Tiger. Now, that's interesting. It might be close. It might be real close.
Yeah, it might be. I think people, because there's a lot of people who will just play the game just to play as Tiger. Will buy that golf game just so I can play as Tiger Woods.
Equally just as many golfers that'll buy the Masters one just to play Augusta.
Yeah. But even the weirder thing about them competing too is they're not even coming out at the same time because like the EA golf game, as far as I know of, isn't coming out this year.
Yeah,
that's next year. So it's like, I guess we'll maybe see the real battleground between these two titans next year. When they probably come out around the same time.
I'll get both. Okay, Delvin, look up. Disney has announced the Disney and Marvel Games Showcase September 9th, featuring Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Lucasfilm games. New reveals from titles including Disney Dreamlight Valley, Marvel's Midnight Suns, Lego Star Wars, and a sneak peek at the upcoming Marvel Ensemble game from Skydance New Media, a.k.a. the Amy Hennig game.
Oh, I heard what that is, and that might be a big note from me, dog.
Really?
If that's
I never expected to hear that from you.
If it's what they say it is, it's a Fantastic Four game. I don't give a fuck about the Fantastic Four whatsoever. They are the most boringest superhero team there is.
Wow. I agree with you. I don't care about the
boring as shit.
I'm saying wow because I can't imagine in today's day and age, after all the Marvel movies and Disney Plus and everything, you launch with a Fantastic Four game out the window.
Like that. Because I think you have to keep in mind too that this game, when it comes out, because it's not going to be next year, it's probably a 2024 game. That's around the time when the new Fantastic Four movie is supposed to be coming out, and I think that move kind of makes sense because then they'll come out around the same time, similarly to Spider-Man and the Homecoming or No Way Home.
I'm just thinking of all the people you could pick. I'm just saying, if we were doing the race draft with the Marvel folks, they wouldn't be in my top picks.
not at all.
After them buying Fox, though, I think they
Fantastic Four is going undrafted by me.
We'll take Dr. Doom because he's cool as fuck, but the Fantastic Four, you can kind of keep them.
I mean, it can't be any worse though than the Fantastic Four games on PlayStation 1, like Rise of Silver Surfer, and then the first Fantastic Four, based off, of course, those excellent Fantastic Four movies from back then.
I ain't give a fuck about those either.
Yeah, those games are real bad.
John 32 says, "Give me an X-Men beat 'em up."
Please,
that's what I would want.
Yeah,
they might
give
do
me
that.
an X-Men game
with all the rage and the turtles and stuff. They might get that.
Yeah, just bring back the arcade game. Call it a day.
Out of all the Marvel properties you can bring, that is not what I want at all.
Our buy or sell segment has a couple rumors. Buy or sell, Deathloop hits Game Pass next month. You guys know everybody's talking about the year-long exclusive deal, PlayStation, and everything. Deathloop came out in September last year, so a lot of people are expecting Deathloop to pop in Game Pass next month. Buy or sell?
Sell.
I too am going to sell.
I think it will, but not next month.
Yeah,
that's why I'm selling. I think it's October.
I'm gonna be the bold person and say buy. I think it'll happen next.
I like it.
Okay.
I think they'll announce it.
Ryan was right.
I think they'll announce it a week before it comes out because they probably won't even do a physical copy with it. It'll just be digital only, and Microsoft will be like, "All right, by the way, here's a trailer for Deathloop. It's a tweet. It's out next week."
That makes sense. I was gonna say, like, I assume it came out like sometime mid-month September. And Game Pass typically likes to do like first and mid-month updates. So my planning was they'll probably just save it a week and then launch it with like the first of the month Game Pass announcements for October.
I'm even going to give you
Game Pass, October 1st, Deathloop.
I'm going to give you a date.
Deathloop came out September 14th.
Yeah.
So like, let's say the deal ends September 14th. They're a week and a half away from just launching it October 1st.
Donnie, I'm going to give you a date. September 20th. It's a Tuesday. That's my prediction. It will be on Game Pass September 20th. You can just, put this on your virtual whiteboard, go back to this podcast, and just find out Ryan was right.
That makes
September
sense.
20th.
They could just publish it the day it's ready. I mean, they could.
Yeah. Because likewise, it would line up with when they announced the next, the back half of September's Game Pass drop. Like, I think that's like the perfect time for it. September 20th, right after the release window on a Tuesday. That's what I'm going to say.
Still probably won't play it because of the rogue stuff, because of the Majora's Mask stuff, because of all that crap. I'm not doing any of that. Nope. I don't want any of these time loops, reset, wash, rinse, and nope. I'm good. Speaking of I'm good and not going to play it, buy or sell, Death Stranding's coming to PC Game Pass. Have you guys seen the PC Game Pass logo on Twitter?
Nope.
They changed their cover logo, and it very much looks like a background from Death Stranding. People don't know. They think it is. People are thinking it could be Starfield. I think it's Death Stranding. It looks like Death Stranding.
I'm going to buy.
Yeah, I'm going to buy too.
Yeah.
I don't even care, but
I'm not interested at all. I didn't like Death Stranding.
I'm selling it because fuck Game Pass.
Wow.
Jesus. From the second I saw that Twitter icon specifically, not even so much the background they got, the Twitter icon specifically, like it looks like Death Stranding to me. Yeah. I'm going to say that.
Yeah. And then the last one, Jeff Grubb. We talked about this last week, so let's keep the conversation going. He says one of the settings for Assassin's Creed Infinity should be revealed next month, but spoilers, it's not Japan. He did say that Japan's coming, and you're going to play as a ninja, not a samurai. Get excited, apparently, Dev.
Straight.
But what do you guys think? Buy or sell? We get Assassin's Creed Infinity and a new setting that is in Japan next month.
I believe it. Buy.
Yeah. We got that Ubisoft forward.
How do I say I don't care in buy or sell?
You don't.
Just like how you just said.
Just say sell.
You just be quiet. That's how you say it.
I don't give a
we got that. We got the Ubisoft forward. I say we're gonna see it for sure. So I'm gonna say buy. I think Jeff's probably right.
My man. You don't mean that. That Game Pass Dev.
I do.
That Game Pass Dev. Love it.
Nah.
What a brand.
Trash.
What a brand.
Trash.
I hope it's that Mayan, Aztec, whatever apocalypto type. That sounds fun. That sounds awesome. So we got a new game from Rude Days 93 in the Rude Days 93 segment. So instead of odds makers, he's decided to do another PTI classic, over under. So over under 4.5 first party game releases for Xbox next year, not counting Activision Blizzard games. And I will start way over. I actually think that number is a little low. That number is a little low. If I was setting a line, I might set it at 6.5 personally, but I would go way over.
Plus.
I disagree with Donnie because I have no idea what's coming to Xbox.
But you're going to be in my Game Pass family plan. You get to play every one of them.
I don't think I am, actually.
You are.
I think I may pass on that.
You're going to be one of us, Dev.
We'll see.
One of us.
See, he didn't like everybody in the Game Pass Dev, so now he's going to, out of spite, take himself out.
Oh, yeah.
That's
absolutely.
Right.
Delvin, you want to be in the family plan?
I'm down.
Damn, Dev, you just got replaced like that.
I'm okay with it.
Over or under? So this is not including Activision Blizzard, but it is including the Bethesda games.
Yeah.
So I will say over.
Next year, not this year.
I'll say over.
Okay.
This is a slam dunk. It's over because, assuming Forza, Starfield, and Redfall all come out, which they're supposed to, that's 3 right there. They just need one more game, and I think
we've had 4 delayed games.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a guarantee. Guarantee. You can mark it on your calendar.
I agree. Over under 1.5. God of War Ragnarok and Tlu will both be above a 92 Metacritic. Review scores for both games the last time they released was 95 for Last of Us and a 94 for God of War 2018.
I'm going to go over. I think Last of Us will be 94, and I think God of War will be 92.
Ooh, see, I think reviewers are going to take out some anger on Last of Us. I'm going to go under.
I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going under for that exact same reason.
They're not going to kill it, but they're not going to. It's not going to get 95s. It might get 85s and 8s and stuff like that.
But believe it or not, I actually am agreeing with you two, but for different reasons, because I'm under as well. But I actually think Last of Us will be 90 plus, but God of War will be 88. It'll be like Horizon.
It's interesting.
That makes sense. I can see that happening too.
Yeah, like sequelitis, I think will cue into the reviews for that a little bit.
I hope not. I thought God of War was
I can see people saying more of the same.
That's the thing. It's going to be the same game. I don't think they're going to be doing enough to it to where people are going to want to give it a 90 again. It's going to be like,
well, Last of Us Remastered, the PlayStation 4 version of Last of Us was also 94 on Metacritic. So that's where I'm basing.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
What did Uncharted Legacy of Thieves get on Metacritic? 86. So that's kind of what I'm thinking with The Last of Us. Is it'll drop down a little bit because of the remaster part. Mm-hmm. Not being a mind-blowing remaster, as we've already saw, that's just easy bait at this point for some folks to make.
No,
and we're not talking about our own personal scores or our favorite scores. We're talking about the average, the norm Metacritic score. So I think it's
take consideration too. It's a different set of reviewers now than it was 10 years ago.
True.
When Last of Us first came out, so you're going to definitely get some way different opinions on it now in reviews versus someone who reviewed like the PS4 version or the original versus God of War. I think a lot of people will review God of War who reviewed 2018 might actually review Ragnarok as well.
As we've learned, everybody hates the way Ellie looks and the way Tess looks. So trash game.
I think we'll get a hit. I think the users score on Metacritic will get a hit from Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the easiest over under. We all know that's going to happen. It's a naughty dog.
They shouldn't even allow users to review that game.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a case where the review score is going to be like 90 something, and the user score is going to be like 70, 60. Yeah. It's going to be nuts.
We don't have long to wait, which is nice. We're going to have our answer in a couple weeks. So
I think they're both going to be in the 80s.
Bombed.
Okay. This next one is real fun. Over under 115 million PS5s sold this generation. For reference, the PlayStation 4 sold 117 million.
115 million?
I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go under.
115 million?
That's part of it.
Yeah.
I think they will be able to make that many, but I think by the time that they can actually make that many, we're already going to be thinking about PS6 or whatever it is. So I
do think we move on quicker.
Yeah, I think also the price plays into it a little bit too, because like the PS4, was cheaper at launch. It got cheaper with the slim version, and I mean that doesn't mean there might not be a cheaper version of the PlayStation 5 Slim at some point. But I think that plays a little bit of a factor into it not getting way over the 100 million mark this time around.
I also think the market conditions are very different. The PlayStation 2 was a huge boon because it had a DVD player. Mm-hmm. The PlayStation 4 launched at an incredible time where one company fell completely on its face and another company gave consumers everything they wanted. Now, the PlayStation 5 has launched in a very different market. Their competitors are much stronger in both situations. The Switch is a much stronger competitor. The Xbox obviously is in a much stronger foothold now. But also, we see Amazon and Stadia and all kinds of other things. Like there's a lot of people playing for Apple Arcade. I'm just GeForce. I'm just throwing out how many different options are available now than when the PS4 launched. And then generally, I do agree with you, Dev. I think what we saw last gen with the mid-cycle refreshes, I think if you're projecting that forward, we could have 2 mid-cycle refreshes, or we could move on to better hardware faster. I do think we get to a point where a PC-like model where they'll still support old hardware cross-gen, but start releasing better hardware sooner, because these boxes have taken on PC-like architecture, and like they got to keep up with the demand. If the PCs are crushing the consoles, they're going to want to keep up with that performance peak at some point. So yeah, I don't think, because you think about the PlayStation 2 was on the market forever, like a really long time, and so is the PlayStation 3. And if you look at the PlayStation 3, I don't think it didn't do 100, right?
No.
It
was also, again, like in a similar situation as you're talking about, where 360 and PS3 were neck and neck the whole generation.
And the Wii. So yeah, I'll go under. Yeah. And that's it for the news this week. Back to you, Dev.
All right. We got some questions. First one coming in from Steven. He'd like to know, what would it take for Donnie to give The Last of Us 2 another chance? He just beat the campaign for the second time as he gets ready for Part 1 remake, and he thinks it's one of the best video game sequels ever made.
I agree with you. I mean, I've said this 1,000 times. I think The Last of Us 2 is an amazing game. Mechanically, from the gameplay, from the controller, the player's feel, the combat, the stealth, it's so good. The problem is that I don't like more than half of like the story that takes place in the game. So when you say give it another chance, you actually mean like go and replay the whole thing. I don't think that day will ever exist. Now, would I ever go back and replay up to a certain point just to like get in the mood or to, go sightseeing or something? Probably, yeah. My biggest issue has nothing to do with the Abby part, which I think most people, when they hear me talk about it, maybe that's what they're thinking in their head. I don't think that's not what I'm talking about. I honestly feel like that game it feels like a movie that didn't have an editor. I've said this on Sweet Hangs before. I feel like that game is completely overbloated, and I feel like somebody should have maybe reined Neil in a bit, because it really goes a lot of places, and it feels like it should have ended like 2 or 3 times over at certain points, and it just keeps going. And that's the feeling that like when I beat that game the first time, I was like, I just want this to end already. And I think that's what would stop me from ever wanting to go and play the entire thing from start to finish.
It's so funny. For me, it was like, I don't want this to end. Let's keep fucking going.
Yeah, that entire third act, I thought was like, didn't add much for me, even the ending. I thought I don't care about spoilers at this point, damn old game. So I thought the moment where Ellie's back at the homestead, right? And you kind of see the trauma of her experience, that's where that game should have ended. And I think it would have been a better game for sure.
I loved it all. I thought it was a great game. Loved it.
I like the third act.
I like the third act a lot. I like it all. Give me more. All right, moving on. Sean says, thinking about multiplayer specific games, what are the best sequels?
I'm waiting for Ryan.
What are the best sequels ever? That's a tough one.
For multiplayer specific games.
For multiplayer specific games.
Give me two. Give me two.
He's speaking of Splatoon specifically when he asked this.
Super Mario Kart.
I'm gonna go.
How is that a sequel?
Isn't it?
That's the original, isn't it?
No, there was Mario Kart.
Well, you'd be looking at like Mario Kart 64 or Double Dash or something like that. Those are technically sequels. But for me, I'm gonna go with 2. And they're both first-person shooters. So sorry, that's just who I am. Unreal Tournament 2004 was like a really great,
that game was
great. Basically like the best version of Unreal Tournament. That game is such a great arena shooter and so good. But then this just shows how much, I love, PC multiplayer games. But, Quake 3 Arena is my second one. I loved, even though it was multiplayer only, and I loved the Quake campaigns from Quake 1 and Quake 2. I loved the fact that they focused on the multiplayer and gave you just a great suite of multiplayer options for Quake 3 Arena. So I think those are probably my two favorite multiplayer specific sequels. Otherwise, I could throw other games in there like, Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. But I like that more for the campaign and less for the multiplayer, even though the multiplayer I spent like 2,000 to 3,000 hours playing it because I was like one of the top people in the world in that game.
Wow.
Or even something like Warcraft 2, like just evolved the multiplayer in that game so much that I think that's a good one too. But I want to hear from you guys. What do you guys think?
I said Left 4 Dead 2, Destiny 2. I like one of the Mario Karts. I was thinking like Mario Party. Mario Party was a 4. Like any of the really good sequels. I think all those count, right? Multiplayer specific game.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
how many people?
I don't think
Mario
people
Party
think
by
that when they read
themselves?
the question, but those count. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I know what Sean means, and in the spirit of the question, I'll say Destiny 2 and Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the arcade game on NES.
Yes.
It's a multiplayer game, and that is a
Glad
great,
you're doing what I'm going
great-
to do.
It was sponsored
Yeah.
by Pizza Hut of all things.
Yeah,
You got that
I
coupon.
love that game. It's fantastic. Streets of Rage 2.
Nice.
Yes.
I was thinking about that one as well.
That's a great example.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Those are my two.
Marvel vs. Capcom 2
Yes.
Okay.
Great one.
and Mortal Kombat 11.
Ooh, that's
I
good
love
too.
Mortal Kombat 11.
Nice.
So violent, so good.
We kind of alluded to this one earlier. Brandon wants to know, Donnie, how do you think the LIV tour and all that's going on in golf will impact 2K?
That's a great question. I don't know. I think the roster. So anybody that's defected to Live will absolutely not be in any of the PGA games. That means your current Open champion won't be in it because apparently Cameron Smith's crossing lines. That means no DJ, no Bryson DeChambeau, no Phil Mickelson. Like a lot of players, a lot of star players have defected. Even a lot of like legends, like older legends, like notable name players have left. Players that were in Tiger Woods games before. So I think the rosters will be light. I'm more interested in, I don't think any of these developers want to touch like the Live Tour, but it would be interesting if there is somebody out there that would be open to making a Live Tour game. Like even, AEW has a game, but the Live Tour stuff, anybody that doesn't know, they're backed by the Saudi Public Investment Fund, so it comes with its own. That's the whole issue. That's the whole brouhaha now, right? It comes with its own political nightmare. So I don't think anybody wants to touch that like with a video game.
You never know. They might, because again, they own some video game companies too. Like SNK.
That's true. I didn't even think about that. You're right. They do own some video game
the
companies.
Live golf game.
They
There
own
you go.
stock in Nintendo and Tencent. And so you're right. They may just pay for the development of one. That's very true. The interesting thing, I think it's not so much the Live Tour. Again, the interesting thing is we have two PGA Tour products, and I'm just wondering how do they differentiate from each other enough to warrant both like existing, if they're both having like the same content or similar content. And that's my worry with 2K is 2K is Tiger and a couple of people you can play with, but they don't have the majors or like any facsimile of an actual PGA Tour season. The EA game apparently has all that. Now, will the EA game be any good? Because the last time EA made a golf game, it was trash. So obviously, you've got to get over the first hurdle of making a good game first. Like we've seen them try to do NBA Live multiple times, and it never reached the light of day. So who knows if they even ship this game? I'm sure Rory McIlroy will be in one of them. But
of course,
yeah, I don't know. I'm rooting for all of them though, but I don't know, man.
Moving right along. Kyle says now that we're 66% of the way through the year of 2022, what is your personal game of the year so far? And do you think that will change when December comes through?
I'll go first since I already read
fine.
mine off. Mine's Cult of the Lamb. Do I think it'll change is an interesting question because I have several games that I'm very excited to play. I don't know if I'm expecting them to like, I don't know, reach that point. Now, God of War, I've said plenty of times, was my favorite game the year it came out. I think it's the best game of that generation. I'm not necessarily saying it's got to be that this time. I would never hold a game to those expectations. But if it is the sequel that we all think it could be, I guess that'd be the one that I would point to. That might be the one to unseat the lamb, but we'll find out.
Yeah, for me, it's Forbidden West currently, and I think only God of War would possibly change that of the games that I'm planning to play the rest of this year.
You're only playing God of War for the rest of this year, apparently.
No, Last of Us, and I just bought Cult of the Lamb, so you know.
Yeah. Yep. As for me, I don't really have like a number one game currently at this point. It's like 3 or 4 games kind of all competing for that top spot between Live Alive and As Dusk Falls and The Quarry were like the 3 games that I personally enjoyed the most this year. And if I think that'll change, absolutely. I'm actually pretty confident, you know, with what we've got coming for the rest of the year. Like most of the stuff that I personally am very excited about, especially, you know, on the RPG front, which again, I know won't bore you guys with it, but that's, you know, more my thing, more my shtick, of course. Like that's a lot of that stuff is coming out later this year, and that's the stuff I'm most excited about. But even stuff like God of War, I think is going to be, you know, up there. Mario plus Rabbids, Splatoon. Like, there's a lot of great stuff. Yeah, Bayonetta, like that's like very highly anticipated for me. So yeah, I think for me personally, the back half of the year is probably much more exciting for me personally than the front half of the year. As much as I also like Horizon and Gran Turismo as well. I do think there's a lot of stuff to look forward to for me personally.
Yep.
Yeah. Horizon was probably my game of the year so far, but I knew that wasn't going to last. So I honestly think it's probably either going to be God of War, Last of Us, or Callisto Protocol. Because I think I said it earlier this year. I said if Horizon ends up being my game of the year at the end of this year, I would consider this a disappointing year. Because I liked Horizon a lot. It was good, but it didn't wow me.
I was wowed.
I don't think a lot of games wowed me this year.
I was definitely wowed.
There's been a lot of games that wow.
That's my second favorite game. I did my list for board video games. It goes Cult of the Lamb, Horizon Forbidden West, Fire Emblem Three Houses, Kirby, and then probably As Dusk Falls. And I'm hoping to push a couple of those games down the list. I mean, I have high hopes for God of War, Callisto, Call of Duty, Pokemon, and Bayonetta. So I've got some bangers, and I'm hoping make my list. But I really love Cult game. Like Lamb is real special. So I don't have a whole lot of games. Like when I think of how much I like Cult of the Lamb, it starts like I didn't even tell you guys. I told Dev I bought Cult of the Lamb canvas prints. It's going on the wall. Like that's how much I really love this game. It's wall worthy. I haven't bought new canvases in like 3 years. Like nothing's been wall worthy this whole time. Like this wall worthy going on the wall. So it's hard pressed for me to think that something might topple it. It might, but we'll see.
You never know.
High bar.
You never know. All right, I think this will be our final question for the night as we're almost hitting 2 hours. Rob says we need more car talk often. So panel, if you could have any car that you want, which would you choose? And a bonus question, any video game car. Forza cars don't count. I don't even know what a Forza car is, so why wouldn't it
car in Forza, I guess?
Yeah, I don't know what else that could be.
I don't understand how that.
That's just like saying no Gran Turismo cars. Well, that's like just normal cars.
So I guess he means like completely fake cars, like one of the cars from like.
Oh, you can't have the Warthog from Halo because you can technically play it in Forza. But yeah, I'll go first because I have the boring answer to this. Whereas I don't have a car, I don't have a driver's license, I don't drive anywhere, so a car would be irrelevant to me anyways. So I'm just not really into cars. It's just never really been my thing. So I just don't really have an answer for this. But I guess so. I'll say that the vehicle I want the most is a hoverboard because it doesn't exist yet in a consumer fashion, but I still want it. So there you go. That's my answer.
Nice,
solid.
Any car?
I'm trying to think of video game cars. Like
I'm gonna
fake
go
cars.
with the Acura NSX because I just love that car.
Good one.
As any car that I could pick. Video game cars, Batmobile. Fuck it.
I knew somebody was going to say that. I was trying to think of something else.
My answer for both questions will be the DeLorean. Like I'm a big Back to the Future fan, so just give me a DeLorean and I'm good.
That works. That's a real car, though.
Yeah. So
It's also in video games,
real
too.
life, I want the DeLorean, but they also in
He wants
Back to
one
the
that can
Future
also
game,
go
so-
back in time. Yeah.
Yeah, you just get the one from the Back to the Future NES game, and you'll be good.
Not that one. That game wasn't that good.
Oh, come on. At least the car traveled through time in that game, so at least the
Video
DeLorean
game
was okay.
Cars, and I'm on Screen Rant, and it's just showing me a list of cars from like Gran Turismo, and like this isn't helping me at all. I don't know. If I could have any car in the world right now, it would either be like a 70 Challenger. No, it would be a Roadrunner for sure. That's like my dream car is a Roadrunner. But to be honest with you, if I could have any car in the world, it'd be a Ferrari. I just never expect to ever have that kind of money. But if I could have like a Ferrari Spider, those are sweet. I follow a TikToker that's got one. I just watch them like get in the car and start the car. It's so soothing. The video game car part is the one that I'm troubled with. Because I immediately go to like kart racers, but I feel like I should aim higher.
Yes, you should.
There's tons of good like GTA cars, but they're all like real cars. So for like driver cars,
Are they? Or they're just like
they're all
cars
fake
that are
versions
just
of real car. I don't think that's
fake
the real
versions.
version.
Yeah.
There are kind of fake versions of real cars.
So I've got Ryan here. Ryan, there's an old PS2 game where you play as a car that you drive around in, and you like shoot stuff. You shoot like missiles and machine guns.
Spy Hunter?
Spy Hunter?
Can I have that car?
The Spy Hunter
That's
car?
not a PS2 game. That's an arcade game from a long time ago, man.
Are you
Okay, you're
talking
just
about?
old.
Give the
It was also
give the
old as a
original
movie.
is
What is
credit.
that game?
Come
I
on.
think I know what Donnie's talking about. What is the name of that damn game? And it is a PS2 game where you play as a car.
I thought
I
they
mean,
said it
you
was
do that in the
it's not.
Spy Hunter game for PlayStation 2.
Right.
There was a reboot
Yeah.
of Spy Hunter.
Is that it?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
don't
Unless
think
you're
so.
talking
Is that a
about something
cool car?
else. It's either
I
that
just-
or 007 Racing, which was
Let
also
me look
a
it up. Spy Hunter.
because they were doing the
That's
Spy
gonna
Hunter
work.
game
Spy Hunter.
when it was going to be there was going to be a movie reboot of Spy Hunter with The Rock,
With the Rock, yeah.
and it never
Mhm.
came out, but the game came out.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool. It's kind of like a GoldenEye type of thing.
Yeah, like it's
Either
totally
that or
like,
like-
a James Bond kind of car.
Like Sweet Tooth's bread truck, right?
Yeah, like a
Is it an
twisted
ice
metal
cream truck?
car.
You know, Mario's Kart. You know, I don't know. Like, give me some options. Anybody got any better options?
Hmm.
I'm trying to think
I
of
mean,
like
didn't.
unique, specific video game cars. You know, I don't want to take a superhero. Like that's easy.
Yeah, like it'd be
Car
different if
for
we were talking
driver?
about mechs. I could give you lots of good mechs to look out for, Donnie, but
Now we're
cars,
talking.
I don't
Now
know
we're
about
fucking
cars.
talking, yeah.
specifically. Yeah,
Just
like
blow
if I
that
could have
away.
if I could have a Gundam, oh man, that would be amazing.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of any other games that don't have like licensed cars. I can't think of
I just
games
keep
that
coming
have
back
just
to
like
the,
cool
the
cars.
Halo thing, the Warthog. I don't want that.
Yeah,
Can F that noise.
or like any of the Covenant cars. You don't want any of those either.
I don't know. Like those Banshees are pretty dope. Does that count?
But those are planes, though.
Damn.
Yeah.
I'm
What about
trying
What
to.
Crazy
about like
Taxi?
the speeders from Destiny 2? Does that count? Can I get that as a car? Does that
Let me
work?
try.
I mean, kind of.
Best.
It
All
kind
right.
of works.
I won't put cars. Best video game vehicles.
Crazy Taxi.
'Cause I can guarantee, Donnie, if you look at best video game vehicles, like most of them are going to be planes or like
The
motorcycles.
Warthog is the first thing that pops up.
So this
Or the
is,
Warthog.
These are all like real cars. The Mass Effect one, that's on here.
Oh, the Mako.
Oh yeah, the Mako.
He just flips over all the time. I don't know if you'd want to drive around in that thing.
That thing
What about
drove
the
like
Gears of
shit.
War Armadillo?
No,
Yeah.
Captain Falcon's thing? It's,
I'd rather have
you
the
know,
Spy Hunter.
From
F-Zero
F-Zero?
car. Yeah, from F-Zero.
Oh,
And they have Sweet Tooth's truck on here.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do,
that's ice
yeah.
cream truck.
Not too bad. There's
Yeah,
gotta
the
be better
downside
cars.
to-
That's the best we can do.
the downside to one of the F-Zero cars is those cars drive at like 500 miles an hour. So like, good luck actually being able to, correctly
downside?
drive one on the roads.
Yeah, that's a downside, Delvin.
All of these suck.
No.
They do.
They really do. I'm so let
Okay.
down. I'm looking through this list, and it goes literally. I want to read it back to you. Here's how it goes: Outrun, Turismo, Mario Kart, Forza, Need for Speed, Rally Cars, Rocket League, Crazy Taxi, Twisted Metal, Daytona USA, just damn NASCAR, apparently.
Yeah, it was a classic Sega Saturn.
Need for Speed games, Burnout Paradise cars, Cruisin' World, which are just cars. Like, yeah, we just have cars.
Don't forget about Putt Putt the talking car. All of his adventures,
I stand by my answer then. Spy Hunter.
Yeah.
You can be like when you have a car that can talk to you and have eyes and stuff.
Yeah, just I'm sure it'll be perfectly normal.
That is
driving around in the car
in
like
several games. So
yeah.
We have clearly found where video games are lacking. There's not enough cool cars that aren't
Unique
licensed.
video game cars. Yeah, it's basically the Batmobile and the Warthog, and that's some trash.
Or just plays on
Or
real
you get
cars,
a-
like Grand Theft Auto is.
Ooh, I could get Link's his motorcycle.
Oh.
I don't think that's as cool as the
It's
Spy
not a
Hunter.
car. It's not a car.
Good point. Yeah, you're right. It was a cycle.
Well, boo.
that's very lackluster. This is a very lackluster ending.
Way to end the show on a downer, guys.
Yeah,
Blame
good
Dev.
job. Fuck it. Next question. TPR says
Whoa.
favorite games with the companion partner AI is actually useful.
Curveball.
Are there any? Are there games
Yes.
where the companion AI is actually useful?
Horizon.
think I found
They
one.
actually kill things. I was shocked.
Yeah, they did.
That's true.
Hmm.
The Last is my favorite game. I'm not going to not pick The Last of Us. So
Does
I'm gonna
Ellie actually
say-
kill anybody?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, she'll
she
stab
throws you some.
motherfuckers.
She throws you stuff.
She'll stab the fuck out somebody. in that
just
game.
jump on their back and isn't it like brutal? She goes out there and she's like Chucky on their back and she's like tap 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 tap. You're like, oh god, damn!
Wild.
She stabbed him 18 times. Damn,
Yeah.
how is he still standing?
I'm going to say, and this is an old school one because I'm an old man, but Call of Duty 1, the original Call of Duty on PC, because that game came out in a time where, every war game was, you were a one-man army
Normandy
that stomps
Beach.
through everything. And they wanted to, prove that, not that real wars weren't like that and that you had to rely on your teammates. So you could actually pretty much play Call of Duty 1 without even firing your weapon because your AI teammates will kill all the enemies for you. Because it's like real war. You're helping with the conflict with your
Sure.
team. And your team can succeed without you.
The AI combat in Gears sucks. Those dudes shoot the entire time and don't hit shit apparently. So I have to
The
kill
stormtroopers.
everybody in every room. How did
My
we
dude.
not mention a Call of Duty for best sequel multiplayer games? Not one of us
Well,
mentioned a Call of Duty game.
But I
And
think a lot of us think of Call of
Easy.
Duty with the campaign mostly, though. I think that's
yeah, but like, dude, but Call of Duty World at War with
Yeah,
the zombies
didn't play
mode
that.
was huge.
I can tell you why, because I didn't play any of that.
That's your problem. The rest of the world did.
But you could have.
Good for them.
You
They're
should
not-
play
the rest of the world is not
Destiny
on my
2's
show.
out. Call of Duty World at War is in.
I'm actually very excited for Dev to get Game Pass when Call of Duty comes into Game Pass, so you can just play all the Call of Duty games. on Game Pass.
He's not gonna have Game Pass. He's not gonna
I'm
have
not
Game
gonna have Game Pass, and I'm not gonna. I've played all the Call of Duty games that I want to play. The Modern Warfare
I know,
series.
I
That's
know.
it. That's it.
He's so anti this. He's never gonna let it happen.
All right. Well, guess we're done here.
Yeah.
It's over. Go home.
Who's Delvin's companion game?
Oh, Mass Effect 3.
Okay.
Do they help?
Because you can tell them what to do. Yeah. You have your squad, you can tell them what the fuck to do. So
That
Do
you
they
know,
kill
you-
anything?
Yeah, they do. Hey, go shoot this biotic power. They shoot him, then they die. Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
They work pretty good.
I mean, it's better than something like Bioshock Infinite, where I think like Elizabeth, your companion, is very useful, but she doesn't kill any of the enemies for you.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Otherwise,
the
that would've
question was, were they useful? It didn't say they had
Yeah,
to
it didn't
kill
say-
anything. It just depends on which you decide useful is.
And I'm changing my answer to Bioshock Infinite because
To Navi.
Elizabeth runs around there getting
Oh,
all
God.
your ammo for you. She's like,
Hey!
"Here, let that Booker catch."
Hey, listen.
So-
Over here. Hey, listen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were
God.
talking about
Oh,
the
They're
girl
useful.
from
oh
Resident
my
Evil 4. You know, the president's daughter, where you have to tell her to come over and walk around with you instead. Ashley, she
You
does
literally-
nothing.
You literally have to tell her to walk.
Yeah, exactly.
The zombies are
Jesus.
chasing after you. Walk.
No, and she'd rather let them pick her up and be like, "Leon, help me."
Help me, you useless motherfucker. Do something.
God.
I'm really excited to see what they do with her in the remake of Resident Evil 4.
Make her competent. That's what they need to do.
That's gonna be great. I can't wait.
Escort
Fucking
missions are
worthless.
the worst. Ugh.
That's true.
All right, well, that's going to do it for episode 50 of the Play Some Video Games podcast. We'd like to thank you again, Ryan, for joining us on this fantastic journey. You can follow us over on Twitter at PSVG, on YouTube at PSVG Network. Yes, sure. And also Twitch at PSVG. I ain't got...
So DatGamePa Dev. YouTube/DatGamePa Dev.
Hashtag DatGamePa Dev. Make it her thing.
Please don't.
I think I might have to.
Oh, wow. I just realized you changed my name here. Son of a-
I didn't do anything.
Sure.
That's
buddy.
just digital. Two-proof ID. Your mom needs to be present. Okay.
Game Pass, a thorn on my side that will never go away.
Just
Lord
wait.
have mercy. Yeah. Well, I've got nothing else. So until next time, play some Game Pass.